Start typing your questions. Marcus asks, why do I love leasing? I'll tell you, that's a great question to start out with, Marcus. Thank you. Everybody, feel free to start typing your questions. We'll get to as many as possible. Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. I'm your host, Deshone, known as Deshone, the Auto Advisor. Everything we'll be teaching today is out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. So I'm going to be very thorough. I'm not going to hold back anything. If you get to the point where we're going over so much info and you're like, wow, this is a lot, we break it down in a step-by-step way in my new digital book. It's already 5-star rated. You can Google it. And that book has helped hundreds and hundreds of people get to below market deals from home. You can get a copy of it as part of our welcome offer. It's normally $97, but as part of our welcome offer, you can get it in our TikTok bio for 75% off, or in our Instagram bio, or we have a comment in the Facebook and the YouTube comments for you. Activate your 75% off, but it's only good for 30 minutes. That's our welcome offer to you. For those of you who you like more of a, Deshone, let's work together. Can we do this together? Then certainly you can click those same links and click Shop with Deshone. See if you qualify for our Done With You program, where you'll be, instead of reading, we have step-by-step videos, and then we have a Facebook community where you can ask all your questions. Over 1,500 people in that community, and we do 2 coaching calls a month with me personally. So let's get to it. Let's start with Marcus's question, and just keep typing your questions, everybody. As I see more people come on, we'll keep giving you the shout outs as new people come on. All right. Marcus asks, why do you love leasing? The payments. The payments. Let me show you an example of what we call a below market lease. Now, we need to distinguish very early on, all leases are not created equal. You need to get a below market lease, which means you're finding the dealer that's going to sell you the car for the lowest amount. We do that through a bidding process. That's why our process is called Cars from Home. So by putting dealers against each other, many of you struggle with negotiations. I want you to step out of negotiating, and I want you to start making people bid. Create multiple offers. That's what we do. So when you're getting multiple offers, you're going to find the dealer that's going to sell the car at the lowest amount. Every dealer has a different price. Remember this. Don't ever think, oh, Nissan is expensive. I wanted an Altima, but Nissan's expensive. No. One Nissan dealer has a different price than another Nissan dealer, and then another Nissan. They all have different prices. So let me show you what a below market lease looks like, because that's all we care about. Here's an example. Let me tell you my story. First lease I ever got was a Pontiac G6. I worked for Pontiac. Some of you know I work for Pontiac, General Motors, and I work for Mercedes-Benz. I worked for Pontiac. I was 22 years old. I needed a car. I needed a newer car. And my sales manager came to me. I didn't even understand it. He said, hey, why don't you lease one? You know, and I had sold a couple leases. I just didn't understand how it worked. But I got a brand new $20,000 Pontiac. I was paying $256 a month. Now, I want y'all to think about this. We know a bunch of people who get their first car and they're paying $400, $500, $600 a month for a used car. Is that correct? Type $ if that's correct. Do we or do we not know a bunch of people? Hold on, I can't see everybody on Instagram. Do we or do we not know a bunch of people? Right? True, right? Okay. $400, $500, $600 a month. Now, at the time, that's what they were paying. Now we know people who are paying $700, $800, $900 a month. So it's gone up. But back then, I'm paying $256 a month. The thing about leasing is you're driving a brand new car. Okay. Yep. I see you, Olivia Bully. All right. So you're with me. Because here's the question he asked me. Marcus asked, why do you love leasing? First thing I answered him was very simple, the payments. That's not the end, though. What I get to drive. Brand new car. Every lease I've ever had, me and my wife have had, I think, 7 leases. We just got our 7th lease on an Infiniti QX60 SUV. So, and we purchased cars too. I've had cars we purchased. But here's the thing. All brand new cars. And I remember when I was 22, I was paying $256 a month for that Pontiac, but we had a friend who got a brand new Corolla and was paying $500 a month. Did she get a bad deal? No. It's a $22,000 car, add taxes, 25, finance that over 5 years, that's a $500 payment. It's not that she got a bad deal. She was taught, hey, I want a car, I got to purchase it. So let me ask you, you're a young 22-year-old starting a family, you're driving a brand new car, you're paying $256 a month, another person driving a brand new car paying $500 a month. Who's winning? The lease or the purchase? L or P? L or P? Let's go, chat. Some of y'all know. If this is your first time here, type the number 1 because y'all going to get to know what we do here. Type the number 1 if this is your first time ever on a car shopping questions and answers stream with us. Arturo, good to see you. Rosa, good to see you. Shirley Johnson, good to see you. Jess, if this is your first time on the show with us, good to see you. Susan, all right. Eagles, I see you. Rosa, I see you. Lauren, good to see you checking in. Love, good to see you. All right, Olivia Blue, this your first time. Glenn Coop. All right. So for those of you, this is your first time, the way you get the most out of what we do here is stay by the keyboard. Stay by the keyboard because this is active. We're only here for about an hour and then we're out. We can go back to doing what we were doing, but God willing, you don't go back to car shopping the way you were car shopping. We can change the way you car shop on this stream, but you got to be tapped in. So that's the difference. The person who's leasing is paying far less. Now, let me give you an example of somebody like one of your peers. Forget about me. Look at somebody like, let's take Zafrina. Now, Zafrina got a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Look, $579 a month. $579 a month. This is a $66,000 vehicle. It's an electric SUV, $579 a month. Now, some of you know, every $5,000 on a car loan is how much per month? I don't expect any of you who this is your first time. Good to see you, PJE. Good to see you. 39, I see you. A lot of first-time people on here. But for some of you who know, you know what we teach. Every $5,000, Chuck Gibson, my man, good to see you. First time on YouTube. Thank you, Marcus. $100. So I want you to burn this into your head, everyone. Whenever you look at a car, every $5,000 on that price is about $100 per month. So when you look at a $20,000 car, and I want you to get used to associating the payment with the car without a down payment. Because if you go in like this, now you'll know how to control. No one can manipulate you. You look at that $20,000 car, you say, okay, that's going to cost me about $400 a month if I finance it, no money down. 5-year loan. Okay, $30,000 car, $30,000 loan, $600 a month. $50,000 car, $1,000 a month. See, this is if you purchasing. This is not leasing. Those of you who are purchasing, you need to have this rule in your head. So when you go in, good to see you, Dame Presley, Christina Mendez, a lot of people on TikTok checking in. When you go in, no one can manipulate you. See, you know how you get manipulated? You walk in, you look at that $50,000 car and you say, hey, get me the $600 a month on that. Now they know they can't get you the $600 a month unless they you're going to have to put a lot of money down or they're going to put you on like a 96-month loan and you're still going to put a lot of money down and you're still not going to be at 600. You don't know what the car cost. And when we look at leasing, you're not paying for the whole car. So let's go back to Zafrina. Zafrina is paying $579 a month, no money down for a $66,000 vehicle. That would normally be $1,100 a month. If she went in and said, okay, $66,000, how much is that vehicle if I wanted to get a loan on it, just purchase it, no money down? Because her lease she did with no money down. So we're working apples to apples. E.L. Harper, good to see you. They say, okay, it's going to cost you about $1,100 a month. She's paying $579. So most leases are 3 years. We don't do 4-year leases. Marcus, you follow up with Marcus just followed up with the why 39 months. We only lease for 3 years or shorter. You never want to take a 4-year lease. I'm going to tell you why. You're paying too long for a car you're giving back. You're paying too long. Good to see you, Daniel Adams. You're paying too long for a car you're giving back. The key with leasing is adding up all the payments at the end of the 3 years and saying, how much did I pay for this car over 3 years? When you do that, you'll see, like, let me give you an example. This is the Infiniti I just got, 2025. We just picked it up. 2025. Now, this is a $54,000 vehicle, if y'all can see it. $54,000. Okay? My payment on this vehicle is $499 a month. I put $1,270 down. $1,200. I gave them my first payment. I gave them the motor vehicles and the dock fee came to about $1,270. My payment's $499 for 36 months. Now let's add that up. Remember, $54,000 vehicle. How much would that be if we took a loan on it? Somebody tell me, based on our rule of $100 per. What's up, Zachary Hoffman, Ernest Pearson? A lot of people on TikTok today. Good to see y'all. How much would this car cost? I can't see everybody checking in on. It doesn't tell me when somebody checks in on Instagram. But how much would this $54,000 car be approximately? Yep, little under $1,100 a month. If we just went in and we just said, "Hey, finance me this car, 5-year loan, no money down," I'm gonna be about $1,100 a month. Now, let's add this up. I'm paying $499 a month for 36 months. That's $17,964, and then I gave them about another $700. $18,600 is what it's costing me over 3 years. $18,600. Now that is what we call a steal. It had a great lease program. They took off $8,000. The dealer that won the bid took off $8,000, beat all the competition. So you don't need to get a lease that aggressive. Look at Charles' lease on his Palisade. This is what we call a under 1% lease. But look at Charles' lease. Charles got a Palisade, 2024 Palisade. Look, he said he used our system. He reached out to 3,500 Hyundai dealers from home. He got 10 quotes back. And he said his payment on a almost $49,000 Palisade is $597 a month. $597 a month. You add these payments up, it's nowhere near how much money would be coming out of our household if we purchase. It's not even close. So then you might say, Deshone, what's the benefit of purchasing then? It's for the long term. That's why, everything I'm teaching is out of our 7-step Cars from Home system. It's the 7-step system in my new digital book, Cars from Home. But step 1 is what we call the most important question, which is how many years are you going to keep the car? If you're not keeping the car 8 years or more, you should not be purchasing it. You should be shopping for a below market lease. For those of you who are like Deshone, who's a long-term person? You keep your cars 8, 10, 12 years. Let us know. You're long-term. 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years, you ain't even thinking about that. You're long. What's up, Amanda F? Good to see you. Scott W. Juanita Harris. Good to see you. Who's the long-term people? Long-term. Do we got any? See if we got any. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Any long-term people? You're keeping your cars 8, 10, 12 years. Let us know how long you've had the cars. Thank you, Scott W. Appreciate you. Okay, Glenn Coop. How many years are you going to keep the car? You said you're long-term, but how many years? How many years have you had your last car? Put it like that. Let us know who's had their car 8 years. Just type the number of years you've had it. 10, 15. Because you know what my truck just hit 11 years. Okay, I see you, P Haircuts. Okay, we got one. What I'm seeing is, and this is why I'm leaning more into leasing, not just the fact that the questions come in about leasing, but the fact that I'm seeing more and more people are keeping their cars for less time. All right, we got Keon Jones, keep his car 10 years. 16 years on a Suburban, Scott W. Okay, these are the people who should be purchasing. and you need the Glen Coupe has a 2015 Equinox. Okay, so you're approaching the 10-year. Yeah, you're right about 10 years. So let's consider this. Some of the rest of you are like, wait, I'm not keeping my cars anywhere near as long as these people. You are the people who should not be purchasing, because I just showed you the amount of money we're paying for these below market leases when you know how to shop. Now, if you're purchasing, you still need to get below market deals, because dealers are lying to y'all. 8 out of 10 dealers are still telling, hey, there's limited inventory and all of this, and this is why you need to pay these high prices. It's just a matter of you not knowing how to shop. That's what the Cars from Home system will teach you how to do. Make people bid, look at multiple offers. You still need to get below market deals. But if you are not keeping the car at least 8 years, you cannot win with a purchase. You can't win unless you're buying like Facebook Marketplace cars, $3,000, $5,000. Cool, that's a win. But if you're buying 15, 20,000 and plus vehicles that you're not keeping for 8 years, you're putting hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month into them. Not to mention repairs, warranty issues, all the things that you're like, it adds up, that you're not going to get back. That fortunately, people who get below market leases, we don't have to worry about any of this stuff. We're driving brand new cars, something goes wrong, we call the dealership, drop it off, they fix it, we go pick it up, and we have super low payments. So yes, benefits of purchasing long term, you pay off your car, you keep it long as possible until the wheels fall off. But if that's not you, you should only be interested in shopping for below market leases. Okay, we're clear? Everything that we're talking about is out of my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's normally $97. You can get it as part of our welcome offer for $24, but it's only for 30 minutes. That's our welcome offer. It's in my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. And you can activate that. It'll be in your inbox by the time we end the stream, and you'll have everything we teach about how to get below market leases, new cars, purchases, how to get below market loans, high mileage driving strategies, bad credit. What do you do when you have bad credit? How does this plan change with bad credit? That's all in there. For those of you who are like, Deshone, can we work together? Can you walk us through this? We have our Cars from Home done with you. Click those same links, see if you qualify for that program. And then we have our group. When you see everybody, all of these people I'm posting from our Facebook group, same system. It's just 2 different learning styles. Some of you, you're a do-it-yourself person. Deshone, give me the blueprint. I will follow it to the T, and I will knock it out. We don't leave anything out. That's why that book has 5 stars. You can Google it, all on Goodreads. Thank you to everyone who's reviewed it and rated it. It's the master blueprint of do-it-yourself car shopping and doing everything we do. Those of you who are like, you're more of a done with you person, you want a community. We have 1,500 people in our Facebook group that's come before you, and you got people who've gotten multiple cars using our system in our Facebook group. Sheree just got her 4th car. Where is she at? She just got her 4th car. Look, graduated again. Look, turned in my 2022 CRV, got a 2025 Honda CRV Sport. This is the second go round of a lease. She's gotten 2 pre-owned cars. So look, Ken McGee. These are people who came in just like you, didn't know anything about shopping from home, and they just assumed based on what I was saying that we could lead them to success. And they came in, they followed a predictable system, and look, I graduated $585 monthly payment, no down payment, $49,000 Nissan Murano Platinum, almost $50,000 vehicle. He's paying $585 a month. There's people right now paying almost $1,000 a month for that same vehicle. $900 if they took a long loan, $800 if they took a 96-month loan. He's paying half of that. So this is about financial literacy with cars. So you can see if you qualify for our Done With You program. Let's keep the questions coming. And let's go. We got a lot of people on here. I want to make sure we get to as many as possible. What's a normal interest rate for a solo guy credit 700? It's a great question. We can't feel for the bottom with interest rates. No matter what interest rate you get, if you leave the dealership and someone was to ask, do you think you got the best interest rate? you're going to say, no, I don't know. I hope I did. That's why we use a strategy called the bank bidding war. Everything we do is a bid. The one thing that eliminates buyer's remorse is bidding. Why do you think we can buy a TV on Amazon in 10 minutes and not regret it? It's because we're seeing enough of the market. You go to on Amazon, then you pop over to Walmart, then you pop over to this, and you see in 10 minutes, you see, all right, this is the best price, right? Right? Type right if you understand that. Type right if you could. See, these are principles. What's up, Jerry Eric? Good to see you. Susanna, Callie Craig. See, that's how we have price assurance. Price assurance and lack of buyer's remorse comes from multiple offers. It's simple. So in order for us to say, all right, how do we make sure we don't have buyer's remorse when it comes to our loan, or when it comes to our trade-in, or when it comes to the car we buy? We need to make sure we see enough offers to know that we got the best. And notice, dealers are going to try to keep you from getting more offers. That's why they think you need to be there to do business. See, that's all works into, hey, if I can keep you from shopping other offers, I can make sure I'm controlling the price, which is why we focus on cars from home. So how do we employ this bank bidding war system? Credit bureaus allow, and anybody can Google this. Okay, I see you, tips notes. Wait, I'm sorry. Tips and toes. Good to see. All right, so everybody's following. I'm glad to see everybody's tracking on this. This is what we'll get to you too, Tanya Rails. Make sure you get Tanya Rails on Facebook too, Dolan. But hold on, let's finish this up because we're talking about how to make sure we don't have buyer's remorse with our interest rate. A lot of people don't know that the credit bureaus, the people who rate our credit and sell that score to people, they allow us to shop and have multiple banks and credit unions access our credit, but it has to be within a short period of time. It's called the rate window. So if you Google rate shopping, you can verify this. So what they say is, in a short period of time, you can have a bunch of people access your credit with a hard pull. And at the end of that window, it's going to weigh on your credit as if it was one hard pull. So if one hard pull would have weighed your credit down 10 points, you can have 15 of them in that window and it's still going to be 10 points. This is how we move, which is why we never do a pre-approval with a hard pull. Who's ever gotten a pre-approval with a hard pull? I'm going to tell you what the bad part is about that. And look, see, if you get the mindset that none of these people want me to shop, if you can burn that into your mind, oh, the dealers don't want me to shop, correct. The banks, even my banks, they don't want me to shop them, correct. That is the mindset. So when you get the hard pull, it's going to drop your credit. But here's the bad part about the pre-approval, has an expiration on it. So they'll send you out with a pre-approval. Hey, Mr. Williams, good news. Hey, Haley, let's use Haley. She just jumped on. Haley, we'll give you the pre-approval, but it's a hard pull and it's only good for 30 days. So now you're going out there and you're trying to find your car and like, hey, oh man, I got to find a car within 30 days. Because the last thing we want to do is not find a car, and what happens? We got to run our credit again. So we literally have the bank who's supposed to be helping us, hurting us, which is why we don't do any pre-approval with a hard pull ever. Ever. We are not going to limit ourselves and force ourselves into this rush shopping. One thing you're going to learn as you use the cars from home system is we don't rush shop. Some of you, you're in an emergency. That's no problem. Okay. Listen, if you need a car in a short period of time, we have people who, Ansley got a 1% lease. When he got his car, he came in, he used our system. Our system is designed to go through in seven days. You can get your car in 7 days below market deal. That's not a problem. You can see here, he says, look, one car down, he had 2 more to go. 2024 QX60 Lux, $58,000 car. He got it for $554 a month. He said, look, I started the process Saturday, accepted a deal Monday. That's it. He started on a Saturday. He had his offers coming in on Monday, and he was good. So it's not a matter of time. It's a matter of knowing what to do. But what we don't want to do is make emergency shopping our norm. Because a lot of people, you think, oh, if you come in and tell a dealer, hey, I need a car by next week, that hurts you. We don't want to be emergency shopping all the time. You want to be in a position where you can say to a dealer, hey, yeah, I can make a deal today for sure, but I don't need to make a deal until, 3 months from now. Your ability to say no is leverage. So we don't want to continue to always be emergency shopping all the time. And with our system, you won't be. Some of you, you're emergency shopping because you have so much anxiety, you just wait and put it off. And next thing you know, it's like, oh man, now I need a car. And now you're going in and this is all working against you. So we are not running our credit until we found our deal. This is going to sound way different than what you've been taught. If the banks were giving soft credit pull pre-approvals, we wouldn't need to do this. But they're not. Because they're trying to lock us in, they're no longer doing these soft credit pull pre-approvals. If you can find one, if your bank does it, that's what you want to do. Soft credit pull pre-approval. Tell me around about what you think my interest rate would be, and then let me go shop. Now, if your bank or credit union does that, that's the move. Once you do, in our system, we have a calculator that we do. We use the average interest rate. We put it in the calculator so we can budget, because the only purpose of a pre-approval is to budget. That's the only purpose. Just like when we buy a house, you're pre-approved for $400,000 at a 4% interest rate. Now we can budget. Let's go find our house. Same thing with a car. It's only to budget. So we have a budgeting tool that we use the average interest rate, and then you plug it in and you tell it what you want your monthly payment to be, and it factors in taxes and all of that. We have custom calculators, but what you want to do is go shop for your car, get your bids, shop for your used car, find the best one, and then you start to tell your banks and credit unions, here, make me an offer. That's when you are going to let people run your credit with a hard pull. This is called the bank bidding war. This is a system we've been using for a year. You always let the hard pull start after you've locked your car up, because now we guarantee. How many of you have tried to called your bank and said, hey, could you give me a pre-approval? And they say, well, tell us about the car. Thanks to everybody. I see you, Marcus. Thanks for liking the broadcast. Thank you so much. How many of you have went to called your bank and said, hey, I like to get a pre-approval, and they say, well, give us the information on the car. Well, if I had the information on the car, I wouldn't need the pre-approval, right? Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Princess VVS. Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody liking the broadcast. Appreciate you. Right? So they're working against us. It's okay. We just need to realize that. There's nothing wrong with people working against us. Just let's be aware of who's working against us. So now what we're doing is we're locking up our car, finding the dealership we're going to get our car from. You can do it our way, you could do it your way. Find your car, and once you lock the car up, that's when you're now coming home and saying, all right, let me call my bank, let me call my credit union, let me go online and let all of these people run your credit, because it's going to be within a small period. And then what we do is we see if the dealer can beat it. All right, here, my best interest rate is 5.7. Dealers probably have another 5, 10, 12 banks that they work with. If you guys can beat the 5.7, I'll do the deal with you. So now you've shopped everybody and let them bid, and now you're letting the dealership bid. And now when you look at the end of the month, all right, I guarantee I got the best interest rate because all of these people were competing. Type dollar signs if that makes sense. Type a dollar sign if we got that. Okay? I don't want to move on to the next thing until I'm sure we got that. This is called the bank bidding war. This is how we guarantee. Okay? Okay, I see you tips and toes. All right, I see you, Princess V. Okay. All right. This is the bank bidding war. This is how you guarantee the only way. Look, I need you getting to a point where you no longer are buyers. If you can walk out of dealership and I can come to you and say, hey, Al Berrigan, good to see you. You just got your car. Hey, you think you got a good deal? Yeah, Deshone, I think I got a good deal. Would you bet $1,000 that I can't find a better deal? Oh man, no, I ain't gonna bet that. All right, listen, how much did you get for your old car? You traded it in? Yeah, they gave me like 12,000. Would you bet $1,000 that I can't find somebody that would have paid more for that quicker? No, I ain't gonna take that bet. No price confidence because there's been no bids. But if you bid your car out to CarMax, Carvana, in step 2 of our process, we have a 7-step process. Step 2 is the equity assessment. We're getting bids from CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, KBB Instant Cash Offer, Car Guru's Cash Offer, AutoNation Cash Offer. 6 offers we're getting. Takes us 20 minutes. So now if he bids that out and you say, hey, you think you got the most money? Yeah, of course I did. Because I let all the people who buy cars make me an offer. When we bid out our loan, when we sit at home and we see the entire market on a used car, every used car within 100, 200 miles of me, I seen it. I made sure I got the lowest one. I'm shopping for a new car or at least I'm talking to 25 dealers in our system. We have something called the 25 to 5. We reach out to 25 dealers all online. We're not talking to these people. So those of you who are like, I don't like to talk to salesmen, we don't talk to them. I wrote all the scripts for you. You got all the emails. You just copy and paste them. We know everything they're going to say because I had to use those same scripts they used, and we keep the conversation going. When you get those offers, we're reaching out to 25 to get 5 offers. Price confidence. Price confidence always comes from bids. It's the only way. All right? Great question. Everything we're going over so far, everything I'm teaching is out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. It's normally $97, but as part of our welcome offer, you can get yours for $24. That's 75% off, but it's only for 30 minutes. That's our welcome offer. You head to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments. Once the timer hits 0, the price is $97, and it's worth every penny. That book will save you thousands and thousands of dollars as you use it. So it's not a question. But listen, if you get there before the timer is up, you got it for $24, and it'll be in your inbox by the time we end the show. For those of you who want to work together, you want to see, hey, can we work together? We have a Done With You program where instead of reading, you're actually watching short videos. And we have a Facebook group where you have a support of a community, over 1,500 people that have come before you in that group. And we have 2 coaching calls a month with me. So you can actually, if that's your learning style, see if you qualify. Just hit the button that says Shop with Deshone. See if you qualify for that. But either way, just use what we're talking about. If you can get it from these streams, you use what we're talking about. So that you can start to have confidence in your car buying purchases, and so that you can save all the money that you should be saving. Frankly, I don't want to give $1 up that I didn't have to give up. And many people are giving thousands of dollars up that they should not be giving up to these dealerships and banks. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Let's keep the questions going. That was a great question. We had to go into detail about the bank bidding war, but we got a lot of questions, so we're going to try to get through as many as we can. I think Dolan is trying to, he's trying to go through them. Okay, I struggle with leasing only because of mileage. I travel too much. This is a great question, and this is a misconception. In my book and in our system, we have two different strategies for high mileage drivers. If they're short term is we're not keeping our cars 8 years. And then we have one for long term. Because here's what typically happens with high mileage drivers who purchase their cars. You're buying your cars, you're putting a ton of miles on them, You're depreciating. Thank you, Pastor Frank. Thank you for running the lights up. Shout out to everybody who running the lights up on TikTok. Thank you. When you see the way the value of a car falls through the floor for a high mileage driver, it's amazing. You get a $40,000 car, they put 100,000 miles on it in 3 years, 4 years, and the car is worth half. They're depreciating their car way worse than the average driver. So with that being the case, you need to take different steps. The last thing you want to do is take out a normal loan. You're going to be upside down because your car value is dropping like this, but your loan is only dropping like this, very slowly. So you typically in 3-4 years end up with a car that's almost, that's really lost a ton of value while your loan is still ridiculously high. You're $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 upside down. We don't want to do this anymore. First person that came in that showed me about a high mileage lease was when I was a manager at Hyundai. I was a manager at Hyundai and I had never saw, I remember this guy came in and I was helping him ground his lease. And he had a Hyundai Sonata at the time. And I saw it had 72,000 miles on it. And I was like, you leased this? He said, yeah, I always lease. He said, I'm in sales. I'm on the road all the time. I used to buy these cars and I just would always be putting a ton of money into them. I would always have to put big down payments down, all the negative equity, all the stuff that I knew I was witnessing, but I didn't know how to solve it and coach my and advise my clients through it. So I just thought, okay, hey, you drive too much to lease. I never even would talk to people about it. This was before I went to I had been with Mercedes for a couple years, but I had just never had this experience. So because I left Mercedes, I went to become a manager at Hyundai. I hated that dealership. And then I went back to Mercedes as a salesperson. But I saw what his payment was. His payment wasn't, let's say a normal payment on a Sonata at that time, a good deal was, $300 a month. His payment was only like $175 more. It wasn't double. He wasn't paying $1,000 a month. He was paying like $5,000. And he's driving 25,000 miles. So he's paying an extra $200 a month, call it, and he can drive as much as he wants to drive. Brings the car home, he ain't got to worry about nothing else, drops the car off, not worried about negative equity, nothing. And from then on, that's when I started advising my clients about high mileage leases. Most leases can be built up to 30,000 miles. So if I would have, for example, I got a 12,000 mile a year lease on this Infiniti that I got. I'm paying $499. If I would have gotten a 25,000 mile a year lease, I probably, instead of $500 a month, I probably would be paying $700 a month. But I'm driving 25,000 miles. $700 a month. I'm still way below what a person who purchases the vehicle, depreciates the heck out of it, and then goes to replace it is going to lose. So that's one strategy, the high mileage lease. And the other strategy is something I call 2 cars, 1 payment. Those of you who have a good car already that you're purchasing, pay it off. Pay it off. You might have been putting 20,000 miles a year on it. If let's say I got a nice car and I'm like, all right, I drive all this miles. Let me think about what I'm going to get next. I would keep that car and I'm going to go pay that car off and then I'm going to lease me a nice car. Because everybody doesn't always want to put the mileage on a nice car that they're going to lease, a brand new one. So they got their mileage car. So I got my paid off mileage car. I no longer need to drive 20,000 on this every year. I might drive 10 on this and then lease and put 10 on that. I only got 1 payment because this one's paid off. So I got my nice brand new lease and I got my mileage car. And I'm going to drive the mileage car until it doesn't drive. Good to see you, Vibe with Tamika. Good to see you checking in. Cody, good to see you. Candace. So this is this is strategy. In our system is tons of strategy depending on who you are. But if you now look, let me just tell you this. You might say, Deshone, I keep my cars 8-10 years. This is the same question we're talking about because we spent the early part of the stream talking about leasing, and we had a question. We also talked about shopping for interest rates. but then a person said they struggle with leasing because they think they drive too much. But at the end of the day, what you got to understand is it goes back to rule number one, which is the first step in our process, is how many years are you keeping the vehicle? If your question is more than 8, thank you, Vibe with Tamika. Shout out to the sharers. If your answer is more than 8, you don't need to lease. Doesn't matter how much you drive. Leasing is for people not keeping their cars 8 years. Does not matter how much you drive. If you're going to keep the car 8, 10 years, put 20,000 miles on it. Just go find a car that is capable and quality and goes the long run. I'll buy a car if I was, 20,000 miles a year, 25,000 miles a year, put 200,000, 300,000 miles on it, and just replace the car after a while. I get up one day, the car is not going to start. Man, it got 300,000 miles on it. I'll go get me another one. No reason to lease. But if you're not keeping 8 years, you should not be shopping for a purchase. Below market purchases, below market leases. Below market purchases are for people keeping 8 years or more. Below market leases are people not keeping 8 years. Very simple rule. And it's a rule. People who are in cars from home, the people who use our system, the people who learn from us, they know this is a rule. We don't break it. We don't break it. All right. Niche, good to see you checking in. Alex Kuya, good to see you. Call me Meister, good to see you. A lot of people checking in today on TikTok. All right, let's go. Let's get a couple more in. We got some more time. Let's get to as many more as we can. Type your questions. We will try to get to as many more. Let's not forget Tanya. Oh, wait a minute. Tanya, what about the extra mileage you made go over? Okay, hold on, Dolan. Okay, wait a minute. We'll do this one, and then we'll bring up Tanya's question from Facebook. I bought my lease out. Was this a mistake? In many cases, it was. And I'm going to tell you why. All right. When you buy, how long is the average lease? Type the number of years. I think many people know this, especially some of you who lease. How many years is the average lease? Let's go. Type. All right, Veronica Christian. Yep. 3. Exactly. When you look at the average lease and then you say to yourself, let me tell you a story. Tips and toes. Let me tell you a story. Because you might forget a lesson, but I find you won't forget a story. I'm at the dealership. I'm at Mercedes, right? Person walks in. They're like, I'm looking at this new car, they want to purchase. Like, okay. I look at their old car. Now I can see they got the old body style. So I can see it's a couple years old. What year is the one you got? Told me the year. It's about 5 years old. I said, did you buy it when it was new? He said, yeah, I bought it brand new. I said, okay. This is a story about why we never buy our leases out. Okay? Why we never buy our leases out. So I said, okay, how much you owe on it? Nah, I don't really know. I'm not too sure. Okay, we'll find out. So we pick out a new car. We pick the one he likes. We get to the numbers. I said, okay, I got to call your bank. I got to see how much you owe on this. Now, if a person has owned a car for at least 5 years and they bought it brand new, wouldn't you think it's paid off or either almost paid off? Yes or yes? If we looked at a person and said, okay, your car's 5 years old, and they say, yeah, I bought it brand new, I've been paying on it, wouldn't we think that car is either almost paid off or it's paid off, right? Yes, vibes with Tom. Yes, right? Where we at? I want to make sure everybody's clear. You got to be following this. If we looked at a person who had a 5-year-old car they bought it when it was new, wouldn't we say that car should be almost paid off? Yes? Okay, yes, tips and toes. All right, we're clear. So I'm thinking I'm about to call. Now, here's what I already know, because I'm already aware of the 8-year rule. I'm already aware that this person has paid a ton of money because you bought that car brand new and it's almost paid off. and it's a Mercedes, but even if it wasn't, it could have been a Chevy. You still put a lot of money in that car, and I know when you see what it's worth, it's not going to be the greatest thing in the world. So what I'm already prepared to do, which is what I've done with some other clients, is to tell that person about leasing and to show them how you can actually lease, and whatever your car is worth, just go put that in the bank. Because these are typically people, when they buy new cars, who are used to putting 20% down. They're used to, 10 grand down, 12. They're used to that. They're used to whatever their old car is worth, rolling it over into the new transaction. They're not used to saying, wait, so you're telling me I could lease the brand new car that I want. I don't really have to put much down. And if my car is worth 15 grand, what do I do with that? Yeah, you just put that in your bank. Really? So I'm prepared to deliver this information. So I talked to the used car manager. Let's say the used car manager says, okay, the car is worth about, 18,000 because it was a Mercedes. So I call the bank. Hey, I'm calling for Mr. Jones. We'd like to find out his payoff. Yes, the payoff is $17,400. 17,000. Wait, how did? No, I'm sorry. No. It was higher than what the vehicle was worth. So let's say whatever it was, the payoff is, 19,000. He's underwater. What the used car manager just told me the vehicle is worth, and what the car is. Hold on. I'm like, hey, Mr. Jones, they're saying you still owe like close to 20,000 on the truck. Oh, you know what? Because what had happened was I leased it for 3 years and then I bought it. Okay. I hang up from the bank. So we've been in this car for 5 years and we still are upside down. How does this happen? This happens because most people who buy their leases out are going to take at least a 5-year loan, and sometimes 6. So the first question we asked when we got this question was, what's the average lease? How long is the average lease? You guys said 3 years. So then we say, when we look at buying our lease out to have a similar payment, hold on. I always have that alarm go off. To have a similar payment, we need to take a 5 or 6 year loan. And in many cases, it's 6. It is 6. What's 3 plus 6, y'all? Anybody here signing up for 9-year loans on cars? When you buy your lease out, this is the only time where we end up spending or committing to 8 or 9 years to pay on the same car. Now, is there an exception? Yes. One exception. 8-year rule. How does the 8-year rule go back into this? Because that's always the first question. See, when you buy your lease out, it's a transaction. I want you to look at it as all I'm doing is buying a car, but it's a used car, but it's my car. When you buy your lease out, all you did was buy a used car. That's it. But it's your car. So before we ever would buy a used car, we would ask ourselves the most important question, which is, how many years am I going to keep the car? Because if it's less than 8, we're not going to buy that used car. We're going to shop for a pre-owned, for a below market lease. So if you said, all right, I'm going to buy my lease out, and from the day I buy it, I plan to keep it at least another 8 years, then go ahead, buy it. That's the exception. But you would have to be saying, all right, I leased it for 3, and then I'm going to keep it for another 8, which means I'm going to keep this car 11 years, or it does not make sense to pay 8 or 9 years on it. And mind you, when you look back and say, I kept it 11, hopefully it's longer, because to pay on a car for 8 or 9 years, you want to at least enjoy 3 or 4 or 5 years with no payments. Because again, all this money you shelled out, you could have just been leasing anyway and paying less and driving better cars. That's why the 8-year rule is what it is. That's why, you know, when you guys look, everything we're talking about is out in my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. If you focus on not skipping step 1 ever, step 1 is what we call the most important question. Before you do anything, you ask yourself, how many years am I keeping this next car? Hey, I want to buy my lease out. How many years am I going to keep it? 8? All right, let me buy it. Thanks, Melissa McGrady. Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody running the lights out. It's always the 8-year rule because depreciation is what's killing us on cars when we purchase them. So that's the exception. That's the only time. It's not like, oh, I'm paying cash for it, Deshone. Does it make sense? Doesn't matter. The depreciation of the vehicle in the short term is going to wipe you out compared to getting a below market lease. And let me tell you, let me show you Jen, because Jen no, it wasn't Jen. It was, she did exactly what I just explained when I was telling you guys how I would, people who, some of you, you're going to do this. You've been taught to purchase all your life. You've never leased. You really never understood leasing other than what, you know, you may have heard about it. Let me put this down. Hold on. That's not the one I want to show you. And what happens is you're like, well, Deshone, my next car is going to be a lease thing. Absolutely. So now what am I going to do with my car that I paid off or that's almost paid off? I would normally go swap this. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to do like what, where's she at? Hold on. This is a good one. Here we go. Melissa. All right, so Melissa, she took possession of a 2025 Honda Pilot EXL. She leased it. Her local dealership won the bid, and she said she got her offers that we teach in the equity assessment. Her highest offer for her old car, which was a Kia Sorento, 2018 Kia Sorento, was 12 grand. She planned on selling it to CarMax. And after she made the deal, she gave the dealer a chance to beat the offer or match it. That's what we always do. We come in with offers, and then once we do our business with the final dealer who wins, we give them the opportunity to match it or beat the offer. Saves us the time if they can match it. So now, look, they gave her the 12 grand, and she left out of there at $597, nothing out of pocket. And she's getting a check back for $12,000 in equity. You see what I'm saying? She got her brand new Honda Pilot EXL, great payment, no money down, getting a check for $12,000. That's exactly what this last 10 minutes we talked about was about. Some of you, that is your next move. Instead of going in to trade that vehicle that you would normally trade and buy another one and go into another loan for 5 or 6 years, you're going to keep that. You're going to do the equity assessment, CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, KBB cash offer, AutoNation cash offer, Car Guru's cash offer. Get those 6 offers. Take you 20 minutes. That's going to tell you what your car is worth. And then you're going to prepare to sell to them. That's step 2 in our process. But now before we can sell to them, we're going to move into shopping for our replacement car. Once we get our bids and find the dealer who's going to win the bid, now we go in. Hey, I'm getting a car from you. Hey, I'm going to sell my car to Carvana. Can you match it? I'll sell it to you. Oh, yeah. No. Oh, no, we can't match that. They're paying too much. Perfect. I'll pick up my car from you, sell my car to Carvana, put that money in my bank. Now I got this nice low lease payment with no money down, and this is the win. That's going to be your favorite car deal. You'll do that over and over again, but you'll never do that again. You'll never cash out a purchase to a lease again because you're going to know from now on, I'm not purchasing unless I'm keeping long term, and I'm not leasing unless I'm keeping, less than 8 years. But the transition in mindset and the process from, I've been purchasing, paying all this money, you're going to put a huge equity check in your bank account, and then it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So all of this is in my new digital book. Good to see you, Johnny Nixon. Good to see you, Alan B. Thea. Good to see you, It's DK. All of this is out of my new digital book. Those of you who are like, Deshone, it's no way I'm gonna remember all of this. I just give me the blueprint, give me the step-by-step. That is 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. You can Google it. Thank you to everybody who's reviewed it. It's normally $97, but as part of our welcome offer, you can get yours for $24, but it's only for 30 minutes. You go to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, click the picture of me, or YouTube comments, Facebook comments. We have a link there. When you click that, activate your 75% off and get your book for $24. It'll be there. You have everything we teach about below market leases, how to get below market purchases, below market used cars, bank bidding war. It's all in there step by step. So you just follow each step, check off each step as you do it. And by the time you get to step 7, which is delivery, you're picking up your new car or they're delivering it to you. So that is the system. For those of you who you prefer a done with you, some of you will do it yourself. Give me the blueprint, Deshone. I will knock it out. That's the digital book. Those of you who are like, done with you, Deshone, can we shop together? Instead of books, instead of reading, you want to watch short videos, 3 to 5 minute videos as I walk you through the entire 7-step process. You can see if you qualify. Go to those same links, see if you qualify for our Done With You program. And then we have community with 1,500 people in our private Facebook group. You can get your questions answered, not just from me, but from 1,500 of your other peers that have come before you. Use this system. And then we do 2 coaching calls a month. You have up to 6 months of coaching calls with me personally as I help you get acclimated into the system. So when you see me share all of these pictures are from members of our private Facebook group. This is India. She got and she joined a year before she got her car. She said, I joined last year. She didn't need a car at the moment, but she said, I got back. She ended up shopping, got her 2024 Hyundai Elantra, 36 months. This was a $29,000 vehicle. She's paying $365 a month. No money down. $365 a month, no money down. This is what it's about. They're not me. I'm sure all of you know that I can do this. The reason why I showed them is because this is you. They were on broadcast just like you and followed a simple system, strategic system, and these are the results. All right, let's go. All right, Liam McCall, thank you so much. Enjoy it. Use it. Use it like the biggest weapon in your tool belt. Stay on steps. Don't jump ahead. Don't think, hey, I noticed Deshone didn't talk about that. You'll notice that I ordered things in a particular way. It's for a reason. Well, I normally do this up front. Well, leave your goal, leave your strategy in the background. That's why it's about unlearning. Unlearn, relearn. Unlearn everything you were taught about car buying and come in and just follow each step. And when you get to the goals, you'll be like, okay, I see. Oh, wow. All right. I see why we do that here and not back there early. Tanya Rawls, good to see you. Tanya Rawls, what about the extra mileage you may go over? My friend ended up paying an extra $3,600 for mileage. Now, this happens a lot. Who's heard of a case like Tanya's? Who's heard of a case where people leased, or maybe it was you, and you didn't get enough mileage, or they didn't get enough mileage, and they end up getting penalties? Who's heard of that? And they'll swear off leasing. See, that's what I'm gonna just buy it. And sometimes they buy the car. That's a bigger mistake. Oh, I went over mileage by 15,000 miles. I'm gonna just buy it. Horrible mistake. Financially, horrible. But here's what happens. In step 3 of our process, this is where we're structuring our deals. I have something in our lease strategy called choosing your mileage wisely, where you simply are accounting for how much you think you're going to drive. That is important. And then we're saying, okay, I'm going to drive 15,000 miles per year. I'm going to drive 14. I'm going to drive 12. That's what now, all of our lease offers, we always shop with 12,000 miles. We're always shopping our lease offers with 12,000 miles, only first payment due at signing, taxes and fees go into the payment. because that's how we judge our offers. You're going to learn that you can easily judge lease offers when you're not putting money down. When you have a dealer who says, all right, put $3,000 down, you're at $480 a month. Put $4,800 down, this other dealer says you're at $3,700 a month. This other dealer says put $2,200 down. No, all of you work with just first payment so that we're all working apples to apples. And that allows us to judge whether it's a 1% lease, where our payment is 1% of the MSRP or less, and then up to 1.5%. We haven't talked about the 1.5% rule. That's our threshold of when we're now overpaying for a lease. When you go over 1.5%, you're overpaying for the lease. It doesn't make financial sense to lease that vehicle. So what happens is people will know they don't drive 10,000 miles per year, but they're in a dealer and they're working a lease deal, and the dealer is like, hey, well, your lease payment's going to be $490 a month. And they're like, okay, well, I need to get to like 400. And they're like, well, you can't get there with the 12,000 miles. Or they know they drive 15. You can't get there with 15,000 miles. Okay, how much if I do the 10? Never ask these questions. These questions should never be asked. You drive 15,000 miles per year, right? Yeah. So why would you be considering a 10,000 mile a year lease? To save 40 bucks? To go from 10 to 12 is 20, 25 bucks. To go from 12 to 15 is 25, 30 bucks. So literally for a small amount of money, people are getting penalties, because when you build it into the lease early, you're paying 15 cents a mile or less. When you're penalized for it, you're paying 25 cents a mile. So let me give you an example of somebody. Look at Jen. Jen knew she needed 18,000 miles per year. Now, we always shop, as I said, with 12,000 miles. Where's Jen at? Her smiling face always sticks out. Here you go. All right. Now, Jen knew she needed 18,000. We always shop with 12, whether you need 10, whether you're doing a low mileage lease on an exotic car. I don't care if it's a McLaren. You might say, Deshone, I want to do the 5,000 mile a year lease. Okay. We're always shopping with 10. If you do 25,000 miles, we're always shopping with 12 rather. Once we shop with 12, we judge the deal. 1%, 1.25%, 1.5% to determine the value. Then we adjust to the mileage we need when we find the winning dealer. So you can see, she shopped her offers, $39,000 Honda CR-V hybrid, $512 a month she got. That ended up being a 1.3% lease. That shows the value is there. 1.3, great lease deal, but I need to adjust the mileage now. Now she tells the winning dealer, okay, perfect, I'm going to do business with you. Can you tell me what the payment is if I go from 12 to 18,000? She goes from 512 to 563 a month. That's it. Look, so excited to have my first lease ever. So look, this is what it's about. She paid $47 more and she's driving 18,000 miles a year. Now let's just do this math real quick, Tanya, so you can see where these people make mistakes and where we make sure we never do this. So now we just looked at Jen. Jen's paying $47 more times 36 months, $1,692. That's what it cost her over 3 years to drive all the mileage she needs, $1,692. Meanwhile, thank you, Mr. Lieber. Good to see you. Thanks for running the lights up. Meanwhile, if you look at somebody let's say Jen would have been doing what a lot of people do and said, well, I know I need 18, but thank you, Mr. Lieber. You sharing that. Thank you. I need 18, but I'm going to stay at the 512 payment. Now, instead of she still drives 18. That's 6,000 miles more per year, 6,000 miles. So over the course of 3 years, her lease, she's going to go over by 18,000 miles. And her penalty is going to be 25 cents per mile. $4,500. Type dollar signs if you understand. That's what people are doing. To avoid paying $1,600, they're paying a $4,500 penalty. So your friend could have literally probably paid $35 more per month, gotten all the mileage they needed, returned the lease, didn't have a penalty, went and leased their next vehicle, perfect. But instead, they settled for less mileage than they knew they needed. And now they got a $3,600 mileage penalty. That's why we have a section, choose your mileage wisely. That's what it's about. Okay? I'm glad everybody got that. So everything, listen, everything. If we ever share something and I'm talking about it, I'm like, okay, this isn't in my book, I'll let you know. If I'm ever like, hey, this isn't in our system, I will let you know. Everything we have discussed on this stream is in my digital book, and stuff that we didn't discuss so far is in my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Normally $97, but as part of our welcome offer, you can get your copy for 75% off. That's $24. If you can get to our TikTok bio, our Instagram bio, the Facebook comments, or the YouTube comments, click that link before 30 minutes is up. That's your welcome offer. You'll get it for $24, 75% off. It'll be in your inbox, and you'll have those strategies to use step by step, nothing left out. Okay? And make sure when you get your book, you screenshot the thank you page, just in case some of you type your emails wrong. You don't realize you're typing quick. You're trying to not make sure you don't miss the 30 minutes, and you type your emails wrong. Make sure you screenshot our support team's email. If you don't see that email in 5 minutes, make sure you check your junk, check your spam. If you don't see that in about 5 minutes, just email our support team Monday through Friday. They'll get you your book. But it's usually, we have a great system. They get there. If you misspell it, that's the only reason it's not there. So anyway, for those of you who are like, Deshone, can we shop together? Do you have a more of a kind of an immersive experience where you guys are walking me through this? That would be Cars from Home done with you. You can click those same links in our bios or in the comments and click the button that says shop with Deshone. See if you qualify for that. If you do, instead of reading, we're doing short videos, step by step, 3 to 5 minute videos. You can do them on your time, and they're designed to get you to where both systems are designed to get you there if you need a car in a week. So it's not a matter of time. If you need a car in a week, what you need to know is what to do exactly. You don't want to be under the gun and not knowing what to do. Give me a checklist that I can operate under. So even if I'm in the rush, at least I know I have a checklist to get me through. So I'm not going to make a mistake. So, but for those of you who want to see if you qualify for the done with you, then we have our Facebook group where you can ask questions. For those who like, hey, you like community, you like support. You're not a do-it-yourself person. You're more of a done with you community person. We do coaching calls twice a month on Zoom for 6 months. You have access to the coaching calls with me to make sure you get this system to the T. And either way, I don't care how you get it. I don't care if you get it with the done with you. I don't care if you get it from our book. I don't care if you get it from, if you got everything you needed from this stream, Deshone, I got what I needed. Go execute it. If you get it from our free social media videos, go execute it. We just want to make sure you are paying the least amount for these cars that you should be paying. Good to see you, Mark. Mark in Nashville. Shout out to you. Good to see you, Glennis Jensen. So this was a great show. We had a lot of great questions. We'll be back for another stream. All of you continue to unlearn, continue to make these dealers bid. Never one dealer. Never one dealer. The name of it, if you don't remember anything else, you don't have the book, you're not with our Done With You program, remember, never one dealer. It's about multiple offers. You could be the worst negotiator in the world. If you get multiple offers, you're going to save money by accident. Okay? Create competition. All right. So great show. Appreciate you guys. Great questions. God bless you guys. See you soon. Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. My name is Deshone. I'm known as Deshone, the Auto Advisor. And over the next hour, we're going to spend time getting your questions that you have about car shopping. I'm going to tell you some questions you should be asking that you may not know you should be asking. And then, feel free to ask ask any question. I have my man Dolan in the background moderating. So we're going to try to bring in all the questions we get from every platform to make sure that nobody is left behind. So feel free. Who's car shopping, right? Well, I always like to ask as you come in, if this is your first time on the broadcast, just type a number 1 so we can send a welcome to you. Willie B, thanks for liking. I see. Shout out to everybody hitting the likes. I appreciate you, Willie B, for. I've been very, very, we've been doing this since 2020. And I can't tell you guys. Welcome, Mark. I see you. Shout out to Mark on YouTube. Thank you. I cannot tell you how bad the deals are when you do not know how to get great deals. When you're going out here negotiating right now, the dealers, since the pandemic especially, have been using market conditions against you. Fake market conditions, limited inventory against you. And they sell you these stories that are just not true. But the minute you believe them, they are true. And what's up, Prodigal Son? What's up, Deanne Rose? Shout out to everybody checking in. Good to see you all. What we want to focus on, I want you to learn the cars from home mindset, which is cars from home. That is not just our process, that's the mindset. 90% of what you're going to do to pay less than everyone is out here paying is going to be right here in your house. It's going to be at work. It's not going to be in dealerships. You have no leverage in dealerships. Dealers have all the leverage because they make you think they're the only ones who can give you this offer. You don't realize that there's 20, 30 other competitors that they have, and their mission is to stop you from talking to those people, or their mission is to stop you from being able to access getting offers online. So that's what we're going to be discussing over the next hour, and I'm going to look at any other question that we get in, and we'll bring them on to the show. Everything we'll be talking about is going to be taught out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. So as you hear everything and you're like, man, Deshone, I want the whole blueprint step by step, that's my digital book. It's already 5 stars. It's normally $97, but it's part of our welcome offer to you. You can get a copy for 75% off, which is $24, but it's only for 30 minutes. You head to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. We have a link for you to use, and that'll get you your book for 75% off. Now, for those of you who enjoy working with me together, you want to see if we can work together, and you want more of an interactive experience with our community, then we have a Done With You program as well. And you can go to those same links and see if you qualify for the Done With You program. But we're not going to hold back. Let's get to it. Now that the housekeeping's done, you can start to submit your questions. We already have the first one, so let's get to it. Is 0 down on a lease always the rule? The rule to shop. We always shop with that rule. So when you're getting your lease offers, this is how you want to get them. First month's payment out of pocket only, that's 0 down. Because with a lease, you pay at the beginning of the month. So if you do 0 down, that doesn't mean you don't give them your first payment to drive off. So we're always shopping our offers with only first month's payment due at signing. I like to use those terms. Remember those terms. I made a video about this. It's been seen a lot, but some of you may have been seeing it. Always use the words total out of pocket, not down payment, because total out of pocket is a much more direct and clear conversation. I expect $1,000 total out of pocket. I expect first month payment total out of pocket. When you use the words down payment, who's ever made a deal with a down payment and then you came in and they said, well, what about your taxes? Who's ever had that happen to them? Type me if that's happened. You said, okay, I'm doing X amount down, but you show up to pick up your vehicle and they're like, okay, well, what about the taxes? Or what about this? And And you're like, wow, I thought that was included in the down payment. Who's ever had, listen, the key to winning here is a couple keys. Winning here is about being honest, because listen, this is going to sound like bad news. You're going to figure out over the next hour, Deshone, sounds like I did a lot of things wrong. Yeah, that's okay. Yes, you did. But I got to tell you the bad news first so we can get you to stop making these expensive mistakes you don't even know you're making. So I see you. For the people who are being honest, you understand. The reason that happened is because down payment is an ambiguous word. So it can can mean total out of pocket, but some dealers could spin it and say, well, no, that was just your down payment. So we like to use the word total out of pocket. So we always shop lease offers with total out of pocket, first month payment, and 12,000 miles per year. And we get our offers with the taxes and fees in the payment. Now, you must get at least 5 offers for a lease for you to see what the below market lease is. Because we've been doing this, besides my experience with, since 2006 being in the car business, I've personally, since 2020, helped hundreds of people personally shop all over the country. And I know that if you don't operate with 5 offers, you're not going to be able to see that 3 to 4 of them are going to be overpriced. Big mistake that they've programmed you. Shout out to the sharers. I see you. Thank you. Thank you, Art. I see you, Kim. Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody who's tagging somebody. Listen, your friends will be mad at you when they come and tell you that, hey, listen, I bought this car and I got ripped. I hate they ripped me off, and then you say, hey, you should follow this guy Deshone. Hey, how long you been following him? A year? I watch his stuff all the time. Well, why didn't you share it? So share with your friend so that we can protect these friendships. Because when people lose on cars, they get very mad. So we want to stop them before they actually go make these mistakes. But that's what you want to do. You need to shop your offers with first month's payment, put the taxes and fees in the payment, get your offers, and you need to get at least 5, because then you're going to see, wow, 3 or 4 of these are overpriced by a lot. So, when you hear people say, oh, I got a quote from Nissan, they're expensive. No, that one Nissan dealer is expensive. You need to get another quote from a different Nissan dealer, which is why everything we do is from home. Because most of you are like, oh, man, Sean, I got to drive from dealer to dealer to dealer. No, we don't do that. We make our deals in literally 90 minutes, 2 days, a couple days from home, couple hours from home. And that's how we're able to talk to multiple dealers at once. And we don't even, if you're using the Cars from Home system, you're not even talking to dealers, because I wrote all the email templates that we use to communicate with multiple dealers on their websites and inside their dealers. So we're not even talking verbally to them. Everything is being typed. What's up, Kelly? Good to see you, Hudson. K-Swish, shout out to the people checking in on TikTok. So that's how you want to do it. That's the rule. Now, when do we put down payments down on leases? To answer the final part of your question that you didn't ask, well, we put down payments down on leases to lower our payment once we know we have a below market lease. Once we know we have a great deal on a lease, 1%. Some of you have heard of the 1% rule. Once it's under the 1.5% rule, those of you who don't know, you can feel free to ask about that. But some of you who know what we teach, the 1% rule has been around for decades. The 1.5% rule we created as a way to make sure you're not overpaying for your leases. So once you get your 5 offers, if it falls in that category and you're like, wow, great deal, but I want to lower my payment a little bit, that's when we put money down. See you, Greg. Thank you so much. Welcome, Samuel. That's when we put money down. So money down is, if you don't do it that way, what you're doing is you're trying to buy your deal. You're trying to say, oh man, I got a good payment, $399, $4,000 down. You bought your deal. That's not a deal, because when you take the down payment away and you look at what did I pay for this car, you're going to see, wow, okay, that actually was an overpayment. So that's why y'all notice when you're talking to dealers, what is the first question they ask when you start talking about the numbers? Don't they? How much can you put down? Right? Right or right? Stay by your keyboard, y'all. Come on. I see you, Vanny. I see you, Val. Stay by your keyboard. Let me go to my people on Instagram. Because in order for you to get the most out of what we're doing, you gotta stay engaged. The people who are going to get the most out of what we're doing, we're on 4 platforms right now live. I see you, Pam. Good to see you, Pam Erickson. I see you, Chief B, Instagram. You guys, the people who engage are going to get the most out of what we do. If you're sitting there and you got this playing in the background, that's not to say you can't get anything out of it. But for sure, yes, Devin, this is how you're going to get the most out of it. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm just watching the comments. So the 1.5% rule just says that if you're the 1% rule. Somebody asked what's the 1.5% rule on Instagram. So being that all these questions, this person who asked this first question, my answers to that has created secondary questions. Let me just answer that, and then you guys can type your questions if it's unrelated. If it's like, okay, Deshone, I want to know about used car shopping. Deshone, I want to know about getting a loan, financing, bad credit, whatever. Then you can ask that. But I just want to finish this since we're talking about this subject. We don't buy our deals. We must get a great deal before we put money down. And in order for us to do that, we shop with no money down. So we have to shop with no money down, analyze the deal. Great deal, perfect. I want to lower my payment a little bit. Let me put money down. Does that make sense? Type $ if we're clear on that part so far. Then we're going to, now let's talk, type $, because then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the analyzing of a great deal. Good to see you, Bike Life. Analyzing, I see you, K&D. Thank you. All right, MFD Dad. All right, perfect. So now let's talk about this 1% rule and this 1.5% rule. So when I heard about, I remember when I heard about the 1% rule, I worked for Pontiac GMC Buick. It was my first company that I worked with in the car business. And I was hearing about the 1% rule then, which is if your lease payment is 1% of the MSRP or less, it's a steal. It's a steal. Doesn't mean you can't do better than 1%. You know, some of you, we talk about Frina sometimes, and Frina, she actually got a 0.88% lease. So we don't always want to even, there's several factors that are going to, you see her payment was $579 on a $65,000, almost $66,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee electric version. So you need certain things to be lined up to even be able to get a 1% lease. It's based on getting a big discount, which we're going to get by competitively shopping. We're going to find the dealer that's going to give us the biggest discount. But in order to get to the lower percentages, you need a great lease program. That's going to be your residual. That's going to be your money factor. That's going to be your any incentives, rebates. We don't know any of this stuff before we shop for the vehicle, because I know what some of you are thinking. Deshone, how do we know those vehicles? You don't. Frina didn't know that when she was shopping for that Jeep, it was going to come in at 0.88. All you can do, that's why when you use our system, we shop the market. It takes us a day, 2 days. We're getting offers and we can see, okay, this is what the market is on this vehicle. But the 1% rule is if your lease payment is 1% of the MSRP or less, it's a steal, great value. Add up all the payments. You'll see you're driving a very expensive car for a very low amount of money. That's the 1% rule. Now, when I first came to TikTok, because TikTok was the first platform that God blew me up on, I was hesitant to talk about leasing because I knew that some of you were going to go in and tell your dealers that you deal with, oh, give me a lease. And they were going to show you overpriced leases. And then you were going to take them because even an overpriced lease is better than your purchases. Even an overpriced lease is better than your payments you've been paying on it's a person who buys new cars because you were just taught, I was just taught, Deshone, buy my cars. You go in, you buy a $50,000 car. That's going to be wait, let's see, because we might have some new people on here. Who knows this question? In fact, the first person who answers this, you got a free copy of my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Every $5,000 on a car loan, when you look at a car, every $5,000 is how much per month? I'm watching Facebook. I'm watching. Every $5,000 sorry, on a car loan. Sorry. Anybody? Jordan, you got it. Jordan was the first person I saw. Every $5,000 is $100 per month. Jordan, just send me a message here on TikTok with your with your email, and I'll have the team shoot you a free copy of my digital books. $97, but you got a copy of free. Wait, hold on. I don't see. Oh, yes, it was Aman. You're right, Aman Cordova. You're right. The comments popped up so fast. You're right. You were first. send me a DM with your email, and I'll get that to you. Now, for all of you who like Deshone, I want a copy. Well, we have a welcome offer. It's normally $97, but you can get a copy for 75% off if you get to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube comments, and Facebook comments. You just click that link. It's only good for 30 minutes, and you'll get your copy. You won't pay $97. You'll get your copy for $24. But so now let's take that and so when you're looking at a $50,000 car, that is going to be a rough, no money down. Again, see, people will tell you all day long, well, I got a $50,000 car and I pay whatever for it. They're taking out their down payment and they might have a very long loan. Let's take good loans, 5-year loans. That's going to be about a $1,000 payment, depending on their interest rate, $950 to $1,000, no money down. 6-year loan, maybe they could get to $850, $825, no money down. Meanwhile, a good lease on a $50,000 car, 1% lease is $500 a month. So even if you see, and again, I'm still on why I was hesitant to teach about leasing and why the 1.5% rule was created. Because if somebody walks into a dealer and they've been used to doing no money down deals and paying $1,000 a month or $900 a month, and then that dealer tells them, hey, well, we could get you to $850, $800, no money down on a lease. Some of them are going to say, okay, well, I think that sounds pretty good. Maybe you could do $750, overpriced lease, $750. Okay, wow. But so once I saw people start going out and then writing me, oh, Deshone, how's this lease deal look? I'm like, okay, we need to create a rule where leases are overpriced. And all we do, how do we determine that? Add up all the payments. It's very simple. Add up all the payments. And when you go above 1.5% of the MSRP, take the total MSRP. This is the price on the window sticker. This is the price on this window sticker. That you're taking this price right here, total MSRP. This is a vehicle that I just got. I just got this vehicle, 2025 QX60. I'm paying $499 a month, and I put $1,270 out of pocket. 1% lease. I didn't get it negotiating. It didn't take me battles with dealerships. I made the deal from right here, the same way I want you making deals. Now, when your payment is over 1.5%, and again, why was this able to be here? Well, I had a loyalty rebate because I have an Infiniti. They took off $8,000. They had rebates, and they had a good lease program. That combination created a 1% lease for me, under 1%. Now, let's say a brand doesn't have as many rebates. All right, with a great deal, maybe 1.2, 1.3. Let's say a brand has more demand, less discounts. All right, 1.4, 1.5. But the minute you start paying over 1.5 for a lease, you're now paying too much money for a vehicle that you're giving back in 3 years. Makes no financial sense to do the deal. So that is where the 1.5% lease deal came from, the rule came from. And, so if that answers your question. Welcome everybody who just jumped on. I see the people are starting to come in. Keep typing your questions, Dolan. We could bring the next one in because I see a lot of questions coming in. So let's keep this thing moving fast as possible. We don't worry about money factor and residual. That doesn't matter. You can't control those things. So the way you can, again, we're getting follow-up questions. Keep that question up. Somebody has a question about purchasing with bad credit. But what the reason why you don't worry about those things is because you can't control them. You can't control if a dealer's marking up the money factor. See, again, all of this is revealed by multiple offers. If you come into my dealership when I was there, if you worked, I worked at Mercedes. If you come in, okay, Deshone, what's the money factor? All right, it's 0.00270. How do you know if that's true or not? You don't. You can't go shop me against your bank. You can't go say, well, I'm going to use my bank to get the lease. You can't. So there's no point in you worrying about things you can't control. The residual value, I don't care about that. What I care about is multiple offers from multiple dealerships from home. Where is my best offer going to be? 1%, 1.2, 1.4 out of all the dealers. And you've done it right. This is what I teach all my people. You've done it right when you have a range of offers. You should have a range of offers. Your best offer to your worst offer should be $150 to $200 a month difference for the same exact vehicle. Same exact vehicle. You should be able to see, wow, the best dealer is like $505 a month, and the worst dealer is talking about $700 a month. That means you've done it right, because 4 out of 5 are going to be overpriced. But everyone I teach who've gotten deals, when you look at, some of you on TikTok, you can't see this, but if you watch the replay on Facebook or Instagram, you'll see a bunch of people that we share all the time in my groups. They send me their deals, and we can see, look, 1%, 1050 a month. Somebody just got a Yukon XL. They dropped the pricing from 75 to 36 to 70 grand, 1.5%, because it was a 2025 and they have no supporting programs. They have no big rebates, brand new vehicle to the market. Then you have 585, 1.1. This is a $49,000, almost $50,000 2024 Nissan Murano Platinum, 585 a month. Ken got right around the holidays, 1.1% of the MSRP. He's talking about they accepted his counter offer. We have a built-in calculator in my book and in our courses where you just plug all your offers in and it spits out with the counters to send, because you never want to accept an offer without countering. But this is what no one here is worried about. Residual, they don't even know it. We don't know it. I don't know what the residual value is on this Infiniti truck that I got outside 2025. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me, because I'm not thinking about buying the vehicle. I'm not going to buy my lease at the end. I don't do that. We don't do that. I don't care what the money factor is. All I care about is my payment is 1% or less of the MSRP. My payment is 1.2% of the MSRP. My payment is 1.4% of the MSRP. I don't care about how we got there. I don't care about how many rebates they had or didn't have. None of that stuff matters to us. That's why we're able to just shop the offers. This is the stuff that slows you down. Worrying about things you can't control. Worrying about things that if you're negotiating with a dealer, they can manipulate. We sit at home. We use the scripts and emails that I use, that I've written for you guys, send them out, let the offers come in, and then we see where the best one is. This is how we shop for new cars and leases. Very, very simple. All that other stuff is a waste of time. And as a car salesman, all of that other stuff, if you came in with that mindset, there's nothing you could do to beat me, because you don't know the truth. You just don't know the truth. You don't know the truth. You don't know what I own the car for. You don't know if my competitor will take off $2,000 more than I will. You don't know when you're sitting there. That's why we do not sit in dealerships and talk numbers. We get our deals done from home, hence our name, Cars from Home. Okay? All of you who like Deshone, I'm already getting overwhelmed that we got 2 steps for you. You got the blueprint. That's my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You get your copy for 75% off in my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. Click that link for 30 minutes. Or you can join if you qualify, you'll see a link there that says Shop with Deshone. And we can, when you see these people, they're in our group. We have, over 1,500 people in our group where we shop together, and you get coaching calls with me. Or you can just keep asking questions here and try to get some clarity. Either way, we want you to get to your answer so that you can have confidence the way we move. All right. What do you suggest for a person with bad credit? First thing, first rule, first step in our process, 7-step process, is for you to ask yourself, how many years are you keeping the next car? Very important, because whenever you are going in, hey, Lori, what's up, Dantes? Whenever you are going in to buy a depreciating asset, you want to analyze first how long you're going to keep it. What's up, Rico? The minute you don't take this into consideration, you have not dealt with the most important aspect of getting depreciating assets. At some point, this thing's going to stop depreciating like this. And what a lot of people do is they buy these depreciating assets, pay them off with a 5 or 6 year loan, if they even pay them off. Some of them even you trade them before you even paid it off. And then you go and you start a whole nother loan on a new depreciating asset right before it would have slowed down in its depreciation. What does that mean? Who has a car in their driveway right now who they've had it for more than 10 years? What's up, Chucks? Vanny, good to see you. We got a lot of questions coming in today. All right, I'm going to try to talk fast. A lot of questions coming in today. Who has a vehicle right now in their driveway you've had it for more than 10 years? Let us know. Not a lot of people. What's up, Keith Miller? Good to see you. Devin D, how many years have you had it? Let us know how many years you've had it. Put it like that. How many years have you had the vehicle? I want to clearly distinguish with these people. I want everyone else to pay attention because these are the examples of what we call keepers. All right, I see you, MG Daddy-O. All right, so you've had a vehicle 12 years. These are what we call keepers. Good to see you, Keith Miller. That means I've kept my vehicle so long, it's no longer depreciating. See, when you first get your vehicle, it's depreciating like this. Like this. It's literally a slope of losing value. You look at what your vehicle will be worth a year from now. It'll be worth $3,000 less. 2 years from now, it'll be worth $8,000 less. Like you're in a big depreciation cycle. But when you get to where Devin is and where MFG Daddy is, and these people who've had their cars for 12 years, 11 years, their vehicle is going to be worth next year about what it's worth today. They've reached what we call the reward stage. What's up, Josh? Starry Skies, good to see you. A lot of people checking in on TikTok. When you this is the purpose for the purchase. Because purchasing is expensive. You buy the whole car, you have to pay for it. You're on your own with the warranty. Once it expires, there are expenses. So what's the good part then? At some point, I'm going to get to a point where I own this vehicle, it's paid off, I have no payments, and it's not depreciating as much, where I can hold on to it, keep it, pass it down to my family, not go get another vehicle and start the process all over again. That's the difference. So the first thing you want to ask yourself if you have bad credit is, how many years am I going to keep the car? That's step one in my book, step one in our process. How many years am I going to keep this car? If it's more than 8, then I need to be purchasing, whether it's a new or used car. I need a below market purchase. Can't pay what everyone else is paying for their purchases. Below market purchase. But if I'm not going to keep the car for 8 years, then I need a below market lease. Because when you add up all the lease payments on a great deal, it's no comparison to a purchase. What I'm paying for this Infiniti truck, it's a $54,000 truck. I'm paying $499 a month. After 36 months with this lease, $499 times 36, I would have paid $17,000 plus I gave them the money for the I gave them about another $700. I would have paid $18,600 for a $54,000 truck. Y'all get that? Type $signs if y'all understand the math. If y'all understand the value. $54,000 truck, I'm only paying $18,000 over 3 years. That means if I bought it, that's all the depreciation I'm going to pay for. $18,000 total out my pocket, out of my family's bank account to drive a $54,000 truck. Doesn't include taxes and everything. Some of you who are going to buy these trucks, you're buying taxes and everything. That'll put you around 58, 18,000. So when we say leasing, some of you have heard me say, you can't get a good deal if you purchase, but you should have leased. It's over. Deshone, how many years are you? I'm only keeping this car 5 years, but I purchased it. Could I have gotten a good deal unless they gave it to you for half off? No. No. There's no way a below market lease is too many times better than a purchase for you to get a good deal on a purchase and win. So with bad credit, that's your question you're asking yourself first. Now, if you don't, you can't qualify for a lease. No problem. Now we're going to set ourselves up to get a lease, though. And in order to set myself up to get a lease, I'm going to get me an inexpensive car, smallest car I could get a loan on, drive that for 18 months, 2 years, establish a payment history, get my credit up to 680, 690, and then in 18 months, 2 years, I'm flipping into a lease. That's in my book. That is in our, when we have two processes. Everything I'm teaching you is, we have two different ways we teach people. Everything I'm teaching you is inside these processes. One is the do-it-yourself. Those of you who are like, Deshone, you give me the step-by-steps, I'll knock it out. That's my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Those of you who are like, we have a done with you, where you're like, Deshone, I'm more of a done with you person. I would like to ask you questions. I like to be able to, instead of reading, I like to watch a couple short videos to guide me to the process. See if you qualify for done with you. That's in our TikTok bio, Instagram bio, Facebook comments, and the YouTube comments. Either way, whether you're do it yourself or done with you, we want to make sure you have what you need. But that's the process. If I have bad credit right now and I'm like, I know I should be leasing, but I can't qualify for a lease, I'm going to get the least expensive car. I'm going to build my credit over 18 months and 2 years, and then I'm going to flip into a brand new lease. And that's my power play. I'll sacrifice for 2 years and then pull off in a brand new car versus what most people are going to do. Thank you, Devin D. Shout out to the people running the likes up on TikTok. Versus what most people are going to do, which is I don't qualify for a lease. Let me go and just buy a car, pay 20% interest, have a high payment, no warranty, low quality vehicle. And in 2 years, I'm not going to be any closer to leasing. In fact, I'm going to buy a car that's so expensive and going to have such high interest. When something goes wrong, I'm liable to miss a payment, be late on a payment, set myself back from even being able to lease in 2 years. That's why we operate with plans. Okay, let's go. A lot of questions coming in. Keep typing your questions. Equity Now, welcome. Good to see you, Taylor Gill. Good to see everybody checking in. Type your question. Instagram, y'all quiet. Except for my man MFG Daddy-O and Chief B, I don't see many people on Instagram talking. K&D Mad Love, Sharon Weens, I see you. Let's go. Facebook is quiet too, but that's okay. That's all right. Let's go. Can you purchase a vehicle from Carvana with low credit scores? Sure. You can purchase a vehicle from anywhere with low credit scores. It's not about that. Do you want a great deal or not? So if you say, all right, let me walk into Carvana, let me buy a car on Carvana. I got bad credit. Sure, you get a car. You can walk into any highway dealer and say, hey, I have bad credit. Can I get a car? They're going to do everything besides move heaven and earth to try to get you in a car. Is it a good deal? See, and what's unfortunately, this is one of the only bad credit is one of the only groups that you guys actually go and tell people you refer people to dealerships that financially abused you because you got a loan, because you got approved. Hey, go see Joe. Man, Joe got me in a car. All right, can I see the paperwork though? I'm glad you got the car. Don't get me wrong. You were in a tight situation, but can I look at it? Okay, wow. Okay. You got a 2019, okay, has 80,000 miles on it. Okay, you paid $29,000 for this vehicle. Okay, and you're paying, what's your interest rate? 22%? And what? And how long is the loan? Oh, 84 months. And you're telling people go see Joe? Joe's taking vacations on you. So anyone can put you in a car. But with bad credit, what you should be looking at is this. See, we bid everything out. How do we guarantee that we pay less? How do we have what we call here Cars from Home price assurance? Which means when I walk out the dealership with my car, with my paperwork, I have the assurance of knowing that there's no way I could have paid less anywhere else. No one in my region, within 100, 200 miles of me, could have made me a better deal because I shopped that whole market. Competitive offers. That's how you get price assurance. It's the same way you do with Amazon. Same way, you could buy something from, why can we buy something from Amazon and have total price assurance? Competitive. It's okay, I'm gonna scroll this, I'm gonna look at reviews. Okay, this is a similar product. Oh, this is the same product. Okay, competitive. So this is how we shop for everything except cars. So all we're doing here at Cars from Home is teaching you how to shop for cars the way you shop for everything else. So when we're looking and saying, all right, we have bad credit, we're bidding out three things, three parts of our transaction. Who we get our car from, you need to win a bid. That means if I'm looking for a blue or black Honda Accord, that means out of all the black and blue Honda Accord, you need to be the lowest one, best value. That is very different than my loan. My loan, I need to pay more because I'm a higher risk. The loan, I need to pay 20%, 18%, 22% because I'm a higher risk. Has nothing to do with the price of the car that I'm getting. That's the second thing we bid out, our loan. Now, when you, thank you, Devin D, appreciate you. Thank you, Simone, good to see you. When you don't bid out, with bad credit, you lose the ability to bid out your loan because there's not many people who are going to give you a loan. We have some resources. We use a company called LendBuzz. They help a lot of people. I don't have any affiliation with them. They've never paid me a dime. I've never personally worked with them, but in my research, says they'll approve a lot of people. So now you can't bid that out because there's not 10, 15 people bidding for your credit like us. When you have prime credit, you can bid out your loan to, 10, 15, 20 people. That's how we do it. We have a process called the bank bidding war, and it doesn't affect our credit score. It weighs on our credit. So anyway, it's not even, I want to stay focused. But when you go into a dealership and say, all right, give me the car and the loan, you've now said, I don't want to bid. I'm not going to bid anything out. I'm not going to bid anything out. I'm just going to go to who can get me a car and a loan at the same time. And that's what dealers love. 2 transactions in one. And some of you give them 3 transactions in one. You trade your car in, which is selling your car to them. I know that made you think, Deshone, I thought it was like a trade. It was like, no, you're selling your car to them. Did you bid that out? That's step 2 in the Cars from Home process, something called the equity assessment. Thank you, Letty Boy Mom, thank you. That's something called the equity assessment. We bid that out. How many people will write us a cash check in an hour for our current car? Bid that out. That's how we guarantee we get the most money for our old car. Then we're getting a loan. Bid that out. Notice everything I'm talking about can be done online. That's why the system is called Cars from Home. That's why the mindset is Cars from Home. Because if you were trying to do all of this, going to places, going to your local branch in your bank and your credit union and walking in, then you can't do this. But if you use the internet, you can actually do all of this right here. And that's how we do this. So if I'm you, I'm finding where's the least expensive car out separately. And then I'm working with a bad credit financer like LendBuzz or someone similar who will give me the loan, but I'm going to get a great price on the car. I'm not going to mix those two. Man, I got a great price on this car, but I got 22% interest on my loan. That's okay. Because in 2 years, when your credit's better, a year when your credit's better, you know what you can do with the loan? Who knows? Type it, because most of you know. I got a great deal on this car, great price. Great quality car. Look at it. Wonderful. I pay 22% interest now, but in a year from now my credit's better. Thank you, Devin D. Refinance the loan. Very simple. So that's what I'm doing if I'm in a place where my credit's not good right now. I need a car. Perfect. I'll pay higher interest right now. Work on my credit in a year, 2 years. Refinance the loan. Now I got a good loan. Great car. Perfect. Versus if you go into a dealership or you go into Carvana and just overpay for the car and you overpay for the loan, now forget about that plan. You go to refinance in 2 years, you're not even going to be able to. You're still going to be upside down too bad. You'll be upside down too much money, right? Great question. All of this is laid out. See, there's a plan for everybody. Everything I do was to create a plan for everybody. High mileage drivers, anyone who drives over 18,000 miles per year, type HM. In the chat. Type HM in the chat if you drive over 18,000 miles per year. You can't move the way regular people move. You can't base your moves on a regular driving. You don't drive the same. Most people depreciation look like this. You drive 18, 20,000 miles a year, yours look like this. 4 years, you got 80,000 miles on the car. You're depreciating your cars faster. You have a different strategy. We have a different strategy for people who are going to purchase versus lease, buy new cars versus used cars. But it's all 7 steps though. No matter where you are, what your profile is, 7 steps. That's why our system is based on 7 steps. So if you're like, Deshone, I want the whole blueprint, that's my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. You can Google it. This is what hundreds of people have used since we released it to get below market purchases from home. You can see all the reviews. Thank you to everyone who's reviewed the book on Goodreads. We appreciate you. You continue to help that book stay at 5 stars. We appreciate you. But you can get a copy. It's normally $97. Part of my welcome offer. You can get it for 75% off. It'll be $24, but it's only for 30 minutes. That's our welcome offer. You can go to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. Use that link. That's your do-it-yourself blueprint to below market leases, purchases, used cars, new cars, high mileage driving, bad credit strategies, all in there. Now, for those of you who want community, you see me sharing all of these people. You see me sharing Zafrina's deal. You see me sharing Kimberly's deal, Ken's deal. You see these people, Sheree's deal. Look, Sheree graduated again. She's gotten 4 cars. She joined us, our Done With You program, where we have, instead of reading, you're doing videos, short videos, 3 to 5 minutes, very bite-sized videos, like if we were having phone calls. She's gotten 4 cars since she's joined us back in, she joined 2021. She's one of the first people to join us. So this is her first, this is her 4th vehicle. You know, she got a 2025 CRV hybrid. And she talks about all the improvements we made when we created our calculator. She like, we didn't have this when she first started. So she's been able to see all the improvements and things that we've added in terms of, making our system even easier. But if you are like, hey, I'm a more done with you person, I like to, jump on coaching calls. We do 2 coaching calls a month. We have a private Facebook group where everybody comes in, and look, if the book doesn't come, sometimes people with the book try to get in the Facebook group. Sorry, guys. Listen, I got a ton of books here. All due respect, I dumped everything I've learned in 14 years in that book, but I can't call any of these authors. Like, I have questions. I read Tony Robbins' book, Money. It's one of my favorite books. I love to call him and say, hey, Tony, can you break this down to me? That's just not the way it goes. So we have two things, and they're both affordable, depending on what your learning style is. Do it yourself or Done With You. You can click the links in my TikTok bio or in the comments on Facebook or YouTube or my Instagram bio, and you can see if you qualify for the Done With You program or if you want to do it yourself. Either way. All right, let's go. We got more questions coming. Let's keep it moving. I see you still, Calvin. All right, hold on. We're coming. All right, I'm curious to know whether or not, if you have a family member that works with one of the major car companies, is that a best way to buy a car from the A to or B? Wait, I'm sorry. Is that a best way to buy a car from the A plan or B or the B or C plan? I wouldn't. It doesn't matter. Family members don't matter. You can only do what the dealer is willing to do. I mean this with all due respect. I've had car salesmen come on my streams. There's 2 types of car salesmen that come on my streams. People who, they're not trained. They have no idea about the numbers I talk. I will watch car salesmen over and over buy cars, buy them, not lease them, trade them in 3-4 years, 2 years, lose a ton of money, just do it over again. I'm like, you don't even understand your own business. But it's not their fault because we're not trained. So I can't fault them. I really can't. I don't fault people. The people who understand what we talk about, quite honestly, they've been general managers, general sales managers, finance managers, or those are the people who are like, you'll see it on my videos. I was a finance manager for 20 years. This guy is legit. Because a salesman, when I went to work for Ray Katina, I went from working at Pontiac Buick GMC, where I had to run back and forth to the desk to get the prices, and then I got thrown into Yankee Stadium. And Yankees, they're top 3 Mercedes-Benz dealer in the country at that particular time, and Ray doesn't have finance managers. You are the finance manager. So you are putting in the credit apps. You are working with the banks. You are going over everything with the customer, the extended warranties, the after sale products. They didn't have that experience that I had. Therefore, they've never been exposed. They're still back. Hey, let me go get the numbers from my manager. They don't even understand the numbers. They don't understand the program. They don't understand what makes up the numbers. So this is most salesmen in America. So it's always about bidding. I don't care if you have a family member, keep them honest, get other offers. It doesn't matter. Even for some of you who have special pricing. Oh, I get GM family deal. There's no guarantee a deal is going to give you the family deal price. You could go in and say, hey, I got a family deal. If you're dealing with what we call the 80%, okay, your price is this. It's a lot. And your price is this. We ain't gonna tell you about the $2,000 rebates we got. Your price is this. We're not gonna tell you that in the lease though, because you're leasing. We're marking up this interest rate. You can't see that. So the only way to reveal what the truth is to sit at home and make these people bid and submit offers to you so you can look at them while you're in control. You're in control. Nobody's pressuring you, sitting in your living room, sitting in your house, and you're reviewing offers in your emails. And now you're seeing, oh, wow, this person was lying to me. And sometimes they're not lying when they say that's our best offer. That's just that dealer's best offer. They're not going to go any lower than that. A lot of dealers, we call them the 80%. I'm not going to go lower than a certain amount. I make $5,000 minimum every car I sell. And if I can't sell it for $5,000, I'd rather sell it to someone else who will buy it. We got people walking in paying this. So why would I do the deal with you when I could just let another person come in who doesn't know how to shop and I'll just charge them that money? That's the 80%. But the 20% is who we reveal through our competitive offers, through searching the market the way we do from home. And that's how we make sure that we always pay the least amount in the market. All competitive offers, peace of mind, easy, simple. It's a breeze. When you see the people who use our stuff, it's like it's a different world. We don't have the anxiety you have. We don't have the buyer's remorse you have. We don't feel out of control like you have. We don't feel like, oh man, this is the second most expensive purchase of my life and I'm dreading it and hating it. Can't wait to get it over. We don't have those things. And that's where we want you to be. Okay? So Chucks, multiple offers, family member or not. I would tell friends. People know me. People said, Deshone, I know you got this used. I remember a good friend of mine, he was buying a Mercedes truck. And I work for Mercedes. He said, D, I'm going to give you I'm going to call you first. He said, but it's this other truck in PA. They saying it's their last, it was whatever the year was. It's like the last 2019 or something at the time. And man, he said, they're taking off like 18 grand from me. And I had another truck up here, but my dealer wasn't taking off 18 grand. I said, you need to get that truck. I'm not going to tell him, hey, come on in here, man, pay me more because I'm your friend. No, you're doing what I would do. Yeah, I got a friend that works for the brand, but I'm also shopping the market. And if my friend can make me the best offer, great. If not, no harm, no foul. I'll see you in a couple years for the next deal. But we don't have friends. You got to earn it. You got to win the bid. Planning to keep the car. Good, Chucks. Doesn't matter if you're keeping it 10 years. You still need to get a below market price because if you pay 5-10 grand over what you could have paid, stretch that out over 10 years, that's how much money's coming out of your family's bank account for, not knowing how to do this. Okay? This isn't hard to do. What's hard is to unlearn the program. That's what's hard. I got to unlearn what I've been taught. Oh, I need a car. Let me go to the dealer. That's a program. I need a car. Let me go to the dealership. That's like saying, oh, I need a TV. Let me walk into Walmart. First thing we're going, and that it's even worse than that, quite honestly, because, but anyway, let's go. Keep them coming, Dolan. See if we can get Still Calvin. If not now, then let's get him because we might have some questions before him. We already hit on the 1% rule and the 1.5% rule. I see, let's see. Let's go. Zoe Mill, good to see you. Byron Stallman, good to see everybody checking in on TikTok. Iris, good to see you, Mr. Coop. Good, Dolan. We hit that one already. We hit that one early. The Kraken, nobody joined. Good to see you. All right, if I owe 18,000, but my trading value is only 6K. See, now there's a curse word in this. What's the curse word that he just used? See, there's a curse word here. There's a couple curse words we don't use here, okay? Who knows what the curse word is that was just used? Nope, not but. It's the T word. Trade. Trade. We don't trade. Now, if you have now let me explain why we don't trade. Okay? You don't get what anything is worth trading. If I haven't, let's just say I have a this phone. Am I going to get more money trading this or actually putting it on the open market and getting offers for it? Open market or trade? O or P? I go trade this phone. Do I get more money on the open market or on trade? I see you, Big Step. Yep, Dimitri, I see you. Yep. Okay. It's no different. It's no different. I see you, Alonzo Wiggins. Good to see everybody. I love the engagement. I love that people, y'all up on the keyboard, you're engaged. We got probably another 10 minutes. Told you, we like to do an hour hitting hard, a lot of financial literacy, tapping for an hour, and then we move on. That's everything. Hold on. My alarm just went off on here. Thank you. Thanks, Dimitri. All right, I want to make sure I didn't get kicked. All right, so perfect. So that's why we don't trade. It's the same premise. You have buyers who want to pay money for your car. Carvana, driveway. Kelly, this is step 2 in our process. First thing we do is answer the first question. Most important question is what we call it. How many years are you going to keep the car? If it's more than 8, we're purchasing. We're shopping for a below market purchase. If it's less than 8, we're shopping for a below market lease. Then we move to step 2 in the process, which is what we call the equity assessment. This is where we look at the car that we have that we are replacing, and we determine our equity position in the vehicle. How do we do that? We call our bank if there's a loan on it. We get our payoff. That's what you do. All of you who are like, Deshone, I'm going to be shopping soon, or I'm shopping now. I thought I was going to wait to tell a deal about this later. No, we don't do this later. Because when you do this later, you're setting yourself up to trade. You're setting yourself up to get lowball offers on your trade and lose probably $2,000, $3,000 from what you could have gotten. We handle the equity assessment early, step 2. So we call our bank, get your payoff, find out what it's worth. Then we're going to go to these 6 buyers, 6 cash buyers, 6. Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book instant cash offer. Not kellysbluebook.com. Instant cash offer. AutoNation, they're going to give you an offer. Car Gurus, they're going to patch you in with a dealer to get an offer. CarMax and Driveway. 6 offers. 6. You know now what the true market value is when you actually let 6 people who buy cars every day, who compete against each other, make you a cash offer. Comes right to your email. Okay, boom. I see the highest offers from Driveway. Now we look at what is our equity position. Do we have equity? Is the offer more than we owe? Perfect. If the offer is not more than we owe, now we have negative equity on a purchase, not a lease. There's a different equity assessment for a lease. God, there's so much we could go into. These are for different people, though. See, that's the thing. That's why the system's not overwhelming, because some of you are like, Deshone, I got a lease. I didn't even know I could do an equity assessment and see if I can make some money on it. Yes, you can. But it's a different equity assessment process. So now you look and say, all right, it looks like based on what you're saying and your trading value is only 6, it looks like you're going to have some negative equity no matter what. But you need to get the offers to find out what the true value is, because maybe you're being lowballed. Maybe you're being lowballed and they're saying, oh, your car's only worth 6. So if you owe 18, how can I get into something else without 10 grand down? So what I would be doing is I would be rolling that negative equity over and shopping for a lease to bury the negative equity. First question you want to ask, how many years you're going to keep the car? Doesn't look like you keep cars a long time. One, because you already have a car that you're planning on getting out of that you have a loan on. So that's usually the diagnosis of a person who does not keep cars. It's not like you're saying, Deshone, I have a car, it's paid off, I want to get out of it. You're saying, Deshone, I have a car, has a loan on it, I still owe a ton of money and I want to get out of it. That's typically a prescription for the people who should be leasing. If every single transaction you do, you always have negative equity, that's a prescription for a person who should be leasing. If I was, that's financial cancer, okay? Because every single time you buy and replace these cars, not only are you not driving the vehicles you could be driving for the money you're paying, if I looked at what your payment is and showed you some of the people throughout that listen to us, 585, $50,000 vehicle she's driving. My dad just got a Hyundai Palisade, new Palisade, $49,000 truck. He's paying $499 and he $475. He put $3,000 down, but with no money down, he was at like $575. Beautiful deal. Beautiful deal. $575, $50,000 vehicle, no money down. So when we look and say, all right, wait, I'm paying $5, but I'm driving this. Now we start to see. So not only are you not driving what you could be driving, you're also overpaying for it, and now you're underwater. So the prescription is, I will be telling you, you're losing a ton of money. Here's your prescription. Learn to lease. Get a below market lease. That'll solve these problems. Get a below market lease. Stop buying these cars. That would be your prescription as a financial doctor. So now what you should be doing is moving that to a below market lease that you can, and preferably you can find one of these electric vehicles that you can lease for, shop the offers and get, some people are, my goodness. There's one deal I haven't even brought it in yet, but I gotta find it. It's in our group. This guy got so much money off this car. It's like over 50 grand. His payment was in the threes. In the threes. I couldn't believe it. But you had all the money the dealer took off that won the bid. This is what he didn't just walk in. He stayed at home, got his bids, and the dealer that won the bid took off all this money plus the rebates. And it was like, whoa, $3-something a month for a $50-something thousand car? This is crazy. So that would be a perfect time to roll that negative equity over, throw it on top. Now your payment's going to be probably 5, 6, whatever, but you're driving something that is worth that money versus what you're driving now. So these electric, some of you who are buried in these vehicles you're in, you do this equity assessment, you're going to find out. West 156, welcome. I see you. Welcome to the community. New follow. I see you. And shout out to the people who liking. I'm not missing y'all. I'm going to take some time at the end and shout out to people who've been liking the broadcast. I see y'all. I see you, Anthony Padilla. I see you, Kyle Woods, Melissa. I see you. Anyway, so that's what I would be doing. I would literally be shopping for an electric vehicle, to moving my negative equity over to that, getting a big discount, low price. Once I find my best offer, I'm moving that negative equity over, and then I'm gonna drive that for 3 years, and that's gonna be it. And God forbid the vehicle gets totaled, you're okay. It's over. God forbid. So that's the risk. That, oh wow, I'm driving this car. God forbid I have an accident. If it's totaled, I'm out of it. Because leases, when we shop for leases, we always have gap insurance. Most leases include gap insurance, but we have a template that when we get our offers, we always tell them include gap insurance. So anyway, that's the plan that I will be rolling out. That's a great plan for all of you who are buried 10, 15, 20 grand in your vehicles. That's a great plan. Woo! Okay, now everything that I'm teaching is out of my digital book. There's nothing we've talked about in this broadcast that is not in Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. So you can get the entire blueprint. That's below market leases, purchases, negative equity, bad credits in there, high mileage driving strategies in there. 7 steps. No matter who you are, the plan is 7 steps. So you can get a copy. It's normally $97. It's 5-star rated. You can Google it. You can see on Goodreads. Thank you to everyone who's reviewed the book, rated it. But you can get a copy for 75% off as part of our welcome offer. That is, it's only for 30 minutes. You'll get it for $24 if you get to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. Click that link. That'll activate your 75% off. That is the ultimate do-it-yourself blueprint. Everything's in there, 7 steps. Now, for those of you who want to be a part of the community, you have a different learning style. You prefer, Deshone, instead of reading, break this down into short videos, 3 to 5 minute videos with action steps. That's our done with you. And you have our, this includes our private Facebook group where you can ask questions, not just from me, but to 1,600 people that came before you in the last 3 years. Who, you see Sheree earlier has gotten 4 cars using this system, 2 used cars, 2 leases. So we have a community of people who have learned and mastered the Cars from Home system, and you will too. And then we do coaching calls twice a month. So if you have questions, you could jump on with me personally. So those of you who want to see if you qualify for that, click those same links in my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, Facebook comments, or YouTube comments, but you're going to click shop with you, see if you qualify for that. Okay, but either way, get in where you fit in. All right. Ooh, we got a lot more left over. Man, I see we never could get to all the questions. I see we're right around the hour mark. You know what? Let's wrap there. We did a lot. This was good. A lot of questions, a lot of engagements. I see you, Chuck. I see you, Sarah Wells, Big D12, D122, Donald Howell. Do you have still Calvin, my man on Instagram? I wanted to just hit you. He said, do you have anything for people who already bought a car and want to refinance? I mean, you can do this online. Type in, refinance car loan online, get multiple offers, your credit union, banks. It's not even just a matter about waiting for your credit to improve. Sometimes you didn't get the best offer you could have gotten when you got the car. So yes, sometimes it is, hey, I got the same credit, but there's been people who left the dealership at 8%. They didn't know they could have got 6% or 5%. They didn't know. They just, hey, it just feels like this. I'm paying 7.9. I feel like I could have got better. You go to online, refinance car loan online. Give them your information and see if you can get a better car loan. That is something I will be doing on a regular basis, every 6 months, 12 months. Ultimately, you want to do this with people with a soft pull. So specifically look for soft pulls. If you're going to do it on a regular basis, specifically look for soft pulls. You don't want to be, doing these hard pulls every 6 to 12 months at all. Okay. And listen, we do plan on inventing that, because there should be a way to actually just easily have multiple offers submitted to you for banks. But it's, unfortunately, these systems don't exist. We do these things manual. In my book and in our course, we have something called the bank bidding war, where after we find our best deal on a car, we now are going to shop all our banks and credit unions to see the best offer. And then we're going to let the dealership see if they can beat it. So as long as you let multiple people access your credit in a small period, a small window, 14 to 45 days is what they say. If you type in rate shopping, car loan rate shopping, you'll see that Experian wrote a blog post about this, the rate shopping window, where they allow you to have multiple people run your credit with a hard pull. And at the end of that period, it will have the same weight on your score as one hard pull. So if one hard pull would have dropped your score 10 points, 20 hard pulls will drop it the same 10 points if you're shopping correctly. That doesn't mean we're going into dealers letting, hey, run my credit, then go to another dealer, run my credit. This is you manually letting banks see and make you an offer. That is the due diligent. That's the diligent thing to do. But yeah, that's, just shop and see. In your case, shop and see, soft pull, refinance quotes, and see what you come up with. Okay. Thank you, Chucks. Appreciate you. Thanks to everybody who tapped in. Hollywood Smiley, Liam. All great questions today. We will be back. For everybody who got the book, enjoy it, use it. Make sure you write me with your success story. As you can see, I always like to get these emails, and I didn't get a chance to. On the next stream, I'll read some of the emails we've gotten. They take a little longer. This one from Chris. A lot of you have sent me emails. Don't think I haven't got them. Jessica, I gotta, we try to flow and get in, once we get into a flow, we don't always get a chance to read all the stuff. So anyway, Dimitri, I'm glad you just got your book. Enjoy it, use it, and keep unlearning. Forget every single thing you've learned about the car buying process. Trust our process. That's what I say. When you get started with us, you come into Cars from Home, it's oil and water. The systems don't mix. So you leave everything at the door. I've accounted for every part of the car shopping process, even when you're going through the steps and you're like, wait, he hasn't talked about this yet. That's because it's by design. Oh, he talks about this at day 5. When you get to step 5, you'll be like, oh, okay, this is where it's hit. I'm used to planning that here. See, there's a reason. There's a specific order everything is in order for a reason. So trust our process, leave all the things you learned and the car dealers programmed you to do at the door, and your success is guaranteed. All right. God bless you. I'll see you soon. Fast. Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. If you've never been on a stream with me before, my name is Deshone. I'm publicly known as Deshone, the Auto Advisor. Everyone, if you are new here, type a number 1. What's up, Mr. Randy? What's up, Andrew? What's up, Dana? Anyone who is brand new here, you've never been on a car shopping stream with us before, you might be familiar with what we do. Type a 1 in the chat. I want to give you guys a welcome. All the new people. What's up, D? What's up, D? Miss BNN. What's going on, RCH? What's going on, Sweet Rescuer? Let me jump on Instagram. We are live on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Let me jump over to Instagram so I can make sure that I am seeing my people over here. What's up, Miss BNN? Welcome, new people. MDC, I see you. GTO. Is that the GTO Pontiac? Are you a car guy? Let me know. What you got GTO in your name? Everybody who is new, type of number 1. Jingle, welcome. Daniel, welcome. Scott Biggs, welcome. Anthony Byron, welcome. Welcome. Let's go. I like to know the new people. Now, if you've been here before, I want you to type welcome. Type welcome if you've been here before. If you're familiar with what we do here is we are the place to make sure you get the best deal on cars, new cars, used cars, leases. Does not matter. That is what we do here. Welcome. So when you guys see the welcome from the people, that's the regulars. These are the people who tap in. What's up? Good to see you, Epic. Good to see you, Kenneth Newby. Good to see you, Mr. GG. When you see the welcome, this is our community welcoming you here. What we do here is very unique. If you tap in, we'll be on for about an hour. You can get your questions answered about car shopping. I spent 14 years in the car business, working for Mercedes-Benz, General Motors. I ran a brokerage for 4 years. And now what I do is educate you guys, give you the tools, the strategies, the step-by-steps to make sure you are never overpaying for cars. You need to be getting the best deal in the market, and that is going to be $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 less than the average people are paying, depending on what car you're getting. So Start typing your questions. And as you get the questions, I have Dolan, our man, moderating in the background. He's going to be bringing your questions onto the chat. Doesn't matter whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. Type your questions and we'll bring them all onto the show. Okay. We have 2 things that we give you for the step-by-steps. Depends on if you're a do-it-yourself person. Everything we'll be talking about and everything you'll need to pay less than everyone else for cars is inside my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Now, that book's normally $97. It's a digital book, but as part of our welcome offer, you can get your copy for 75% off. It'll be $24, but it's only for 30 minutes. That's our welcome offer. You go to our TikTok bio, our Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments, click that link. That's for you do-it-yourself people. You say, Deshone, give me the plan, give me everything, and I'm going to follow it to the T. Go grab your copy and come on back. For those of you who are more of a do-it-with-you, Deshone, I want to work with you together, then you can click the link, those same links, and you can click done with you, see if you qualify for us to shop together. And then, you'll I don't care how you get it. Even if you ask your questions, let's get to it. And then, if you can piece it together and I can give you the answer you need right now, then you don't need the book and you don't need the coaching program and you don't need nothing. So I just want to make sure you have the tools you need to go out here in this market and win and pay less than everyone else is paying. All right, Dolan, let's get to the first question. I'm going to try to get through as many of these as possible. We're going to be fast but thorough. All right, 70 GTO, the Judge Ram, own it for 40. Okay, that's a classic. When I saw GTO in your name, I said, people don't put GTO in their name unless they're a car person. Like, that's the Pontiac GTO for those of you who don't know. When I work for Pontiac, that's where I started my career. So I remember the last body style of the GTO. And when we lost Pontiac during the Great Recession, it was a sad day. And then they just came out with the Pontiac G8. That was doing pretty good. So shout out to you. That's a very nice car. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's go. Everybody ask your questions. We're going to go. I'm going to do rapid fire Q&A today. Let's go. It's 2025. It's money on the table. Let's get to it. Why is it so hard to get a dealership to give you a cash discount? You're talking to the wrong dealerships. You got to understand something. 8 out of 10 dealerships are going to lie to you. If you accept that, that'll give you what you need to move accordingly. If you are shopping for a Nissan, for example, 10 Nissan dealers in your area, let's say within 45 miles of you or 45 minutes of you, 8 of them on average are going to lie. They're going to make it difficult. They're going to try to tell you can't buy online. That's what they're there to do. But if you get 5 offers, which is what we always recommend, you will find the honest dealers. You will find the dealers who want to beat their competition, and that is what it takes. That's why we do this from home. Now, you can call around if you want to call, ask for sales managers and try to get those offers manually, do it. We have an entire system. When we do it, it's email. New cars and used cars, all we do is email back and forth. We talk to multiple dealers, and then we get to the honest dealers. But you must understand, never make a decision on a car based on what one dealer tells you. That's what people tend to do. Oh, I went in Nissan, they're expensive. No, Nissan of Bay Ridge is expensive. Nissan of Fort Lee is expensive. But when you get out there and you start to see the entire market, which is why we do this from home. That's why our entire system is called Cars from Home. You start to understand, oh, it's not that all Nissan dealers are lying to me. It's just these guys are lying. And that's what you need to empower yourself and to guarantee that you've paid less than everyone else. Okay? Go ahead. You're working with the wrong dealerships. Numbers. This is a numbers game. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Should I get maintenance included in my lease deal or pay as you go? This is a great question. This depends. He asks, should I get maintenance in my lease deal or pay as I go? This depends on the cost. Is there a savings? For example, when I worked for Mercedes, we had maintenance on a Mercedes was literally over a course of a 3-year lease. If you did it with the dealership, it could cost you $1,100 to $1,300. Now, the prepaid maintenance program was an $800 offer at the time. And so there was a savings there of, call it 20, 25, 30%. Now, for those of you who are leasing, this is very important to realize that when you put the maintenance program into the lease, it would residualize. That just means that you're not paying for the whole thing. So you added the maintenance program to your, it might have only cost you $15 or $18 more per month. And it came out to be like, whatever, $600. But the question between, and this is the same thing with extended warranties. Who wants to know about extended warranties? Deshone, should we get extended warranties? Type of one if that's been a question in your mind. This is the same principles. How expensive is it if I pay out of pocket? What's my risk? Because these are nothing more than insurance policies. All right, so we got to realize I need to make the money back that I spent on the plan. If it's going to cost me the same amount, then there's no point in me not paying out of pocket. If I'm going to pay $1,500, then I'd rather pay it out of pocket. It needs to be a savings. And most times with the, if you add up what the oil changes and the tire rotations would be, and then you look at, all right, how much you're charging me for the maintenance, that'll easily help you make a decision. It needs to be at least a saving, a 30% savings to make it, to make it worth it to lay out the money. Okay? I hope that answered your question. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's go, y'all. What's up, Saucy Slinger, Liz Galvez? Shout out to the people on TikTok checking in. Shay, what's going on? Jose Reyes. Just got my chapter. Keep asking your questions. We are going to try to get through as many as we can. I'm trying to do rapid fire, but I still want to make it thorough. And shout out to everybody sharing. We appreciate you. Just got my Chapter 7 bankruptcy discharge last month. What do you suggest the best way to buy a car? If you need, first of all, if you could wait, get your credit score up to a 680, 700. I've seen people do this out of a bankruptcy very quickly, very quickly. If you are purposeful, I always tell you guys, follow Shonda Martin, Road to 750 Plus. Some of you probably follow Shonda. She's a great resource in terms of credit. She's just like me, but all she does is credit. She'll do Q&As. She's been in the industry. She knows the ins and outs. She knows the stuff we don't know. If you follow her, she can help you get to a 700 score quickly with some things you could do immediately, especially out of a bankruptcy. You have a blank canvas. But I would wait, if you can, until you are in that 680, 700 category, because that's going to help you qualify for a lot better programs and move in a lot better way. Now, if you can't, then I would tell you to get an inexpensive car, point A to point B. Don't make a long-term decision and your credit's going to be great next year. It'd be a shame to make a long-term decision right now and you're going to pay high interest. You go out and you get a $20,000 car, 20% interest rate, 5-6 year loan, and a year from now, your credit's going to be better, and then you would have been able to lay out a whole different deal. So I would tell you, get an inexpensive car, point A to point B, get your credit up, and then make a power move. So are you willing to you got to be willing to sacrifice so that you can make a power move later. People are not going to understand. Oh, man, you're driving that old car. Yeah, God, you could afford, why don't you treat yourself? You could afford a better car than that. They don't realize I'm operating with a plan. And then when you pull up, because some of the rule we teach is you shouldn't be buying cars if you're not keeping them 8 years. I'm going to show you some people in these lease deals. And first of all, the discounts we're still getting are incredible. But some of these lease deals are just getting, and like, we're driving cars for cents on the dollar. So if you're not keeping your cars 8 years, you should be leasing. You might not qualify for a lease right now. So you might say, all right, I get me an inexpensive car, Facebook Marketplace, get me from point A to point B. And then a year from now, you got a 700 credit score. You pull out in a 2026 brand new lease, paying cents on the dollar. So it depends on you. I don't give people the exact strategies because I give you the options. I give you, based on your goals, these are your options. You pick the best one. Okay, if you want to ask a follow-up question, go ahead. All right, great question. Let's go. Keep it going. Let's go. Hold on. Let me see here. I want to be able to see. Hold on 1 second, Dola. I just want to be able to see everybody on Facebook, Instagram. It's 20. I can't see you guys on Facebook, but on Instagram, but I want to be able to see you guys on Facebook. Hold on. My truck got repo. How can I get it off my credit? That's a question for Shonda. I don't do credit, y'all. I'm gonna tell you why. Credit is its own expertise. See, if people didn't do cars, a lot of you wouldn't be in trouble. A lot of you wouldn't have bad information about leasing. But because people start thinking, well, I teach people about investing in stocks and mutual funds, you know what, I think I can teach people about cars, and they're leading you astray. They're giving you horrible advice because they don't actually understand the multiple ways to acquire a car. That's why I stay in my lane. I wish they would stay in their lane. Shonda teaches credit. Road to 750 plus. That's a question. Getting something off your credit, that's a question for a credit specialist. Okay? Go follow Shonda and go and implement what she teaches. It's Shonda Martin, DJ King. Shonda Martin. She's all over. She's on every platform. And you can type in Road to 750 plus. I'm sure there's some people on here that could co-sign how great Shonda is as a resource. Okay, go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one up. Okay, what is your opinion is the best large SUV in 2018 and up range to buy? There's a lot of them. We're not giving ourselves enough time to shop and consider what we want. If I was looking for a pre-owned car, I'm going to look at a car, find something on the road that I like. I'm going to look at competitors, and then I'm going to just do our, our system is a 7-step shopping system, 7 steps. First step is the most important question. How many years are you keeping the car? That's going to help you determine should I buy or lease it. Second step is equity assessment. So we don't trade cars here. That's a curse word. We sell our cars on the market to cash buyers, big companies, Driveway, Vroom out of business, Carvana, a local dealer. We have 6, anybody wants to know how do we do this equity assessment to not trade our cars? You could ask that question, but that's step 2. Step 3 is where we structure our deal and we budget based on a deal. How much would a good lease deal be on this car? How much can I actually spend on this next vehicle, including my taxes and fees, so I don't get surprised when I budgeted $500 a month or when I budgeted $30,000, but I forgot, the taxes and the fees and all of that. So we do this. We have a very simple calculator in my book and in our course where we give you this stuff. These are tools we created. And then step 4 is very important. It's called shopping, not buying. That's the step we're not spending enough time on. Looking at the market. There's 40 some odd manufacturers out here. They're making better technology, or they're trying to make better cars, better technology, nicer looking vehicles. We deserve to look at them. You're about to spend 5 figures, most of you, on a vehicle. You should be looking at the market, seeing what everyone's trying to sell me. And so I would pick a vehicle and then come up with some competitors. But in step 4, what we do is, it's very important. This is where you will get in trouble if you don't do this. It takes 5 minutes. You're going to every vehicle you're looking at, go to Google, and you are going to type in the year, make, and model, longevity. What that's going to do is show you what the data says about this vehicle in the long run. Is it known for having transmission problems? Who's got a vehicle and then not even a year later transmission went out? Can we be honest? Can we type me if we're being honest? Who's got a vehicle and transmission went out in a year, or engine went out in a year, or the head gasket blew within a year? Okay? Listen. Nobody on here, I'm sure. So when we what we want to do is look at the data, because the data will tell us this vehicle is known for transmission problems at 80, 90,000 miles. And then if you're looking at a used one and it has 75,000 miles, you could pretty much assume, all right, there's a chance that we're going to have some transmission issues with this vehicle. We need to look at the data. That's going to, thank you, OW. They see, I appreciate it. It's always one. He said, listen, I'm going to be honest. Nobody else is going to say, I had a problem, Deshone. I bought a car and the transmission went out on me. This is what we can avoid in most cases, because what we're doing is we're checking the DNA of the vehicle. Some of you, it's not a problem of you getting vehicles that it's 2 ways we make sure we avoid these problems. First is we're going to check the DNA. That means we're going to do that longevity search in Google. We're going to see, is this vehicle just made poorly? The transmission's made poorly. It's going to go out. We need to make sure the second way we avoid it is to do our quality checks. This is very important. Those of you who are buying a used car, type the letter U. If your next car will be a used car, type the letter U. This is very important what I'm about to tell you. And some of you may have a notepad and you're remembering this. Thank you, Keith Miller. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate you. DJ King. Okay. This is very important. 3 things we're going to check to make sure we're getting a quality used car. The first is going to be the title. What is the quality of the title? What does that mean? I need the Carfax. I need to see, was this vehicle a rental? Is it a salvage title? Was this vehicle rebuilt? Does this vehicle have frame damage? These are the quality of the title. Thanks, Mr. Randy. Shout out to the sharers. Appreciate y'all. This is what we're checking first. This is our first line of defense, the title. We don't wait. People say, well, Deshone, would you get a rental? Well, it's not going to be weighed evenly like other better title histories. So it's not that I'm against rentals, but there's levels to this, as they say. So first thing is the title. Now, once you're looking at the vehicle and you're like, okay, good title, now we have to move to service. This is going to help you eliminate most vehicles because most vehicles do not have the service records to indicate to you, this is something I want to put my money in. When you look at a vehicle, you should see service, 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 maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. If you don't see that, do not buy that vehicle. I can't tell you what to do because you're an adult. We never buy those vehicles. I'm talking to you about the Cars from Home system. These are boundaries we operate in to make sure we're not getting in trouble. Service records are the biggest indicator of how well the vehicle was taken care of. Everybody's following this, type dollar signs. If you're following this, type dollar signs. And then I'm going to go into the last step. 3 lines of defense. First is the title history. Second is the service records. Third, before I move on, type dollar signs. Let me know we're following this. Okay, Mr. Randy, I see you. DJ King, I see you. 1% money, I see you. Okay. Third thing is the accident history. 3 things. Now, all accidents aren't created equal. You might see some vehicles that have minor accidents. You'll see some vehicles that say vehicle was drivable. When you see vehicle was drivable, that means that it, could have been a fender bender in a shopping parking lot. Police was called. Good to see you, Daricus, my man. Good to see you always. When you see that, that could have been, that means that there was a collision, but the vehicle drove away from the scene. So that might be a deal breaker for some of you. That could be a deal breaker for me. It depends. But we need to weigh it evenly. That's different than vehicle towed. When you see vehicle towed, that means not only was there an accident, that vehicle was towed away after the accident. Airbags deployed, that's usually going to lead to a total loss, but these are things that you want to look at. So quality of the title first, service record second, accident history third. That's how we are avoiding problem vehicles. And you do that in combination with the Google search that I told you to do, where we're typing in the year, make, and model of every vehicle. If I'm looking at a 2017 Kia Optima, I'm typing in 2017 Kia Optima longevity. And here's the second search, 2017 Kia Optima reliability. Because reliability is going to tell us what the data says the first 3 years. What are owners saying about the vehicle the first 3 years? And you just skim those pages, skim those articles, look for any red flags, look for any, hey, this vehicle is rated lower than average reliability. This vehicle is rated, to have electric problems. These are the things that help us avoid what I used to see all when I was at Mercedes. We had a Range Rover dealer we had a Range Rover dealer next door. And people was, getting these brand new Range Rovers, and every 90 days, 4 months, they were in the shop. Every 90 days. And if they just did these simple things, these things take 5-10 minutes to do, they would have known, okay, I'm not getting this Range Rover. The data does. But you know who they were asking? Their neighbors. Hey, how you like that Range Rover, Mark? Oh, man, I love it. You should go get one. That's what they're asking. We cannot ask our neighbors. We ask the data. All right, great question. Keith Miller, let's go. Go ahead to the next one, Dolan. JR4L, let's go. It's 2025. By the way, all of you who are like, Deshone, this is a lot of information so far. Listen, I'm not going to remember this. Everything that I'm teaching on this stream is out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can Google it. It's 5-star rated. Thank you to everyone who's taken the time to rate it and send me your stories. That's the entire blueprint for how we get below market deals, leases, new cars, used cars, and we have a welcome offer. It's normally $97, but as part of our welcome offer, you can get your book for 75% off. That'll be $24. Head to my TikTok bio, our Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments, but it's only for 30 minutes. Once it's 30 minutes expires, it's the normal price, and it's worth every penny. That book will save you more. Listen, let me just show you, give you an idea of the deals. When you look at a person who say they're getting deals, look, this is Jen. Now, some of you remember Jen because I've talked about Jen before, but the difference is this is her second deal. So once you learn this system of how to shop from home and be empowered, it just gets easier and easier and easier. So this is Jen's second deal. Look, she said, I graduated again. This time she got a used vehicle, 2021 Kia Forte. Original MSRP was $24,485. She got it for $17 out the door. So she probably ended up paying like $15 for it because $17 was out the door with taxes and everything. She's grateful for this program. Helped me navigate another deal. Start to finish on this deal was 3 days. Thank you, Jen. This is the empowerment I want for you. The confidence. I don't care if you're a woman, you're a single mom, you're an introvert, you're a grandmother. If you can use a computer, you can do the Cars from Home system, and you can come out of this programming that they have everybody doing with oh, I need a car. Let me just go right into the dealership, into the den of lions, and try to negotiate a deal. That's just not. You're not going to get a below market deal that way, and you're not going to have an empowered process. What do I mean by that? A guarantee that you got the best deal in the market. So that's what Cars from Home will teach you. For those of you who are like Deshone, I'm more of a do it with you. The way we could do this together. That's our Cars from Home Done With You program. You can click the link in our bios and in the comments, see if you qualify for that. If you do, then I love to shop with you. We can do this together. We have, when you see people who are posting these pictures and everything, they're in our groups. And, we do coaching calls twice a month. But again, get in where you fit in. Let's keep the questions going. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot that next one up. All right, let me take a sip of water. Let's go. Chemo Thomas, good to see you. Jeremiah, shout out to people checking in on TikTok. We are live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So, but I can see people on TikTok. I got to get away. Dolan, we got to figure this out. I need to be able to see the people on Facebook and Instagram. I want to be shouting them out too. We use another device on TikTok. That's why I can see everybody. Clinton Harmon. I can see Armando. I can see Chemo. I can see Bo. Don't think I wouldn't be shouting y'all out too. Now, if you ask a question, then of course Dolan will bring you up and you get your questions answered. What do you think about an aftermarket warranty at CarMax versus the manufacturer? So an aftermarket warranty. The person asked, what do we think about aftermarket warranties on CarMax versus the manufacturer? So CarMax, when you hear any dealer say we have a warranty, it is limited. Be it CarMax, AutoNation, what that is giving you is if you deal with us, we can support the warranty. As long as there is a dealership that we own or a location we own nearby, you're good. It's not like you have a Honda, your warranty is good anywhere in the USA. You could be in California, Oklahoma, Florida. Find the Honda dealer, you're covered because Honda USA is covering it. So we got to weigh those two things differently. If we're buying locally or we're buying from somewhere where we know there's some of these places, let's say CarMax says, okay, we'll give you the CarMax warranty for $1,500 and that'll cover such and such. First things first, here's the biggest thing. Write this down. Find out what's covered. That's the big thing. You know what the next big thing is? What's not covered. Because who's had an example? And listen, we're an honest community here. The people who look, it might sound like Dag, man, it seemed like when I get on this stream, Deshone, I'm like I'm doing everything wrong. Yes, that's true, because you haven't been on the inside. I've been a car dealer, car salesman. I've had my own brokerage. I've been in the industry since 2006. So the way I'm talking is to make you an insider. It's corporate greed, and I'm giving you the things you need so that you can see the smoke and mirrors now. So it's going to sound like, oh man, I'm doing everything wrong. But the empowerment is now we know what not to do. Now we know what not to do. So who's had an example of buying a warranty and then going to use the warranty and finding out that what they wanted to use it for was not covered? Type ouch. Type of ouch. You know what the pastors say, if you can't say amen, say ouch. This is why when we get these warranties, we have to ask clearly what is covered. I see you. It's no username, it's just a bunch of numbers, but I see you. Thanks for being honest. We want to ask what's covered, what's not covered. So if CarMax is offering you a warranty, we need to know what's covered, what's not covered. Now, if your vehicle is still under manufacturer's warranty, which means every new vehicle that comes and is sold in this country comes with a manufacturer's warranty. While that vehicle is actually under manufacturer's warranty, it is less expensive to extend it because it's already covered. Once the manufacturer warranty runs out, it now gets more expensive. So if that vehicle still has a manufacturer's warranty, you could call a local dealership and find out how much would it cost to add the warranty. And then you could compare that to the CarMax price, and you can compare that to what's covered. But I would be very leery to get a warranty unless you know for a fact that you're going to use it, which means, pay attention, it's very important. Vehicles that have a high likelihood of things going wrong or breaking, and then they're expensive to fix, these are the vehicles you really want warranties on. You don't, listen, Hondas, Toyotas historically have been inexpensive to fix, but even now they're getting more computerized. You want to make sure that the cost of the warranty is going to be something that you get money out of. I'm not going to pay $3,000 for a warranty when, let's say, if two things break on the car, it might only cost me $2,000. Now I done lost. You have to, when you get a warranty, it's like, I know that if one thing breaks on this car, that could cover the whole warranty. These are Mercedes. These are your BMWs. These are Cadillac. Vehicles that have the parts are expensive, the labor is expensive. These are vehicles that you really don't want to be without a warranty. You want to buy as much warranty as you can. Okay, I have a guide on how I teach you this in the book. This is in step 6 when we get to paperwork and protection, because it's a shame to get a great deal and then turn around and you didn't cover it the right way and then you're exposed. Okay, so, but that's how I would weigh it out. Go ahead, great question. Keep it going, Dolan. Shoot the next one up. We are live on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Type your questions. We'll get to as many as we can. Can a person still lease a new car after a bankruptcy, or will I be stuck with pre-owned? Listen, I would tell you what I like to see, and what most banks like to see is high sixes, 680, 670. I like to see people get at least there, because that gets you out of the manipulation zone, I call it. The manipulation zone is, oh, we got you approved, but you're not tier 1. You're tier 3, you're tier 6. And then, they can manipulate that payment. And we have ways to protect against that. That's why we always have multiple offers. So I'll give you an example. I got an Infiniti. I leased an Infiniti truck middle of November, my wife's birthday. So when I leased that, I got it for $1,200 out of pocket, $499 a month. It's a $54,000 vehicle. So now, when I went there, they used one of my scores, which was Equifax, and it was right under 7. And they still tried to play me. And they said, hey, we didn't get you approved tier 1. I said, okay, first of all, this is something we always do online. Sometimes I break my own rules and I pay the price. again, the rules that we create are no respect of persons. They don't care that it's Deshone. I would normally never leave my house until I make sure, hey, approval's good. Let's go. But this dealership was taking a shot at me. The finance manager was taking a shot at me. Now, what I know is tier 1 and 2 in that particular vehicle is the same approval. He didn't know. I don't go in and broadcast. Hey, I don't want people to know that I'm Deshone, the auto advisor. Like, that is like the last thing I want people to know when I'm getting a car. So I'm just like, okay, cool. But I have backup offers. And that's what you always have when you're in that manipulation zone. And even with high sixes, you can have a 690 score. Somebody wants to take a shot at you. They're going to take a shot at you. And how we protect that is always having backup offers. And we say, okay, well, if that's the case, then actually I'm gonna go with my second offer. Is there anything else you can do before I move on? And most times that's when they'll say, oh, okay, well, we talked to the bank, you're good, no problem. That's the way it works. And again, if I wasn't in the business, if I didn't sit in that seat, I wouldn't be able to coach you guys and give you the tools necessary. So this is why I like to see people get to the high sixes at least before you start to pursue a lease, because once that's going to qualify you for most programs. Yeah, I'm not saying you can go out and lease a Benz the first time. Usually Benz doesn't want to be your first lease, but Hondas, Toyotas, Fords, most vehicles are going to be, you're going to be just fine there. So get your credit up to and if you need a car right now and you have to buy it, I'd buy an inexpensive car. I would get a very inexpensive car. If my goal was to lease, I would be looking at something on Facebook Marketplace, a couple $1,000s, get that car, drive it for a couple months, keep my bills down, get my credit up to close to 700 or more, because that's simple to do when you have a bankruptcy. You got a literally you got a blank slate. I've seen people get one credit card or two credit cards, and in less than a year, they're at a 700 score. So you can literally be setting yourself up for success in leasing a brand new vehicle in less than a year if you follow a nice plan. Okay. But if you want it all, then yay. Some people go out, hey, I don't care. Credit score is, 0. I just came out the bankruptcy. Let me go get this Dodge Charger. I want the Hemi. I want the Hellcat. And someone will put you in the car. So it's not that, oh, Deshone, you told me I couldn't get a car. No, I'd never tell you that. Someone will put you in a car. But when you come and you talk to us about that deal and you show us your paperwork, we're going to look at you and say, hey, this was a horrible mistake, horrible, that you can't get out of now. So that's why we like to prepare, come up with a plan, and then execute that plan. Okay, there are strategies. I have a whole bad credit strategy in my book. I have a bad credit plan B. So for those of you who are like, Deshone, is there something in there for bad credit? Not only that, high mileage drivers, you guys need special strategies. You're driving over 18,000 miles. That's all in the book, Cars from Home. It's a digital book, so it'll be in your inbox by the time you jump off this stream. It'll be in your inbox. You'll have the blueprint for everything we talk about on here. Okay, and we have a welcome offer. Normally $97. You can get your book for $24. That's 75% off, only for 30 minutes. So head to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, click those links or the links in my Facebook and YouTube comments, get your 75% off. And then once you pay for your book, very important, screenshot that thank you page, because the book is on there. You can literally open that, save it to your computer, and then you have a support email. Just in case some of you type your email wrong, you can email my support team and make sure you get your book. All right. And for those of you who want to work with us personally, you want to see if you qualify for our Done With You shopping, where we shop together and you shop among our community. We have 2,000 people in our community. We have a private Facebook group. We have a coaching call twice a month. Then you can click those same links, but you're going to click the Done With You and see if you qualify for that. All right. Let's go, Dolan. Keep it going. Rib Slab, good to see you. Daniel Ridley, what's going on? Mrs. Onassis, good to see you. Peaceful Grace, good to see you. Killer Bees, Mr. Randy, thank you. Listen, Mr. Randy, it said you just became the number 8 member on the team. I don't know what that means, but I just want to let you know that. I appreciate it. You are the number 8 member on the team. And you got a number 1 gift badge. So, I mean, I appreciate it. I've extended my Mercedes warranty with Mercedes for years, 4 and 5. Will this be like the 3-year warranty? Hold on, let me read this again. I've extended my Mercedes warranty with Mercedes for years 4 and 5. Will this be like the 3-year warranty? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Could you rephrase it? Go ahead, Dolan, shoot another one up. All right, can you name good non-expensive cars to get? There's just too many. Come up with a budget, and then there's just too many cars for me to start naming inexpensive. You got to realize something. Let's all right. Here's what I give you. Let's look at what you pay for in a car. This is what's very important. All right. These are the 5 areas you pay for in a car. The more you stack these things, the more expensive your car is going to be. First thing is size. Size. The bigger the car, the more money it is. Shout out to everybody tapping the screen. If you're enjoying this, all you can do to support us is free. Just double tap the screen. That brings more people over here. Appreciate you. Listen, first thing is size. Never get a vehicle that is smaller than you need. This is very important. Not you want. I remember when I was at Mercedes, this story sticks out. Girl comes in, she had kids, and she needed a big truck, 3 rows. And then we ran the numbers on the big 3-row Mercedes, and she couldn't afford it. And then she said, well, what about the 2-row? And I said, wait, don't you need the 3-row with the kids? You said you needed all the room. She's like, yeah, I do. So if we would have gotten her in a 2-row vehicle, which some other people would, they would have never asked her, reminded her about her needs, and now she's driving around in a 2-row Mercedes vehicle that is too small, and she's going to eventually get out of it and lose a ton of money. So size, you don't compromise on. Next is amenities. These are your leather versus cloth. This is your sunroof. This is your navigation. This is your special features, your autonomous driving, amenities, big sunroofs. The more amenities, the more expensive. So see if it's a matter of keeping the price down, this is what you want to pay attention to. Let me get the smallest vehicle that covers my needs. Let me get the least amenities that cover my needs. Third thing is power. Power. You can have 3 vehicles in the same shell. One has a 4-cylinder turbo. One has a bi-turbo V6. One has a V8. The V8's the most expensive. You pay for power. Fourth thing you pay for is class. You can have vehicles that same size, same amenities, same power, but to go from Chevy to Acura, different class. To go from Acura to Mercedes, different class. So you're paying. So if it's a matter of keeping the numbers down, you're looking and saying, okay, what's the smallest vehicle that covers my needs, the least amount of amenities that cover my needs, the least amount of power that covers my needs, and the lowest class that covers my needs. Last thing is exclusivity. That's where you can have a very small vehicle with no amenities, but no one has it. It's very exclusive, limited production. It's going to be a ton of money. Or the opposite is true. You go with the biggest vehicle, most amenities, most power, most highest class, exclusivity, G65, G-Wagon, 65, AMG, $240,000 because it stacks everything. So that's the 5 categories of what we pay for in cars. That's where you start. Find cars that are in the smaller category and act accordingly. Okay? Man, if we could get a curriculum in school, I'd love to just get 12th grade. If I got 12th grade and we could build a curriculum for car shopping, I don't even give me 1 semester. Give me 1 semester. I'm sending people armed into the market that'll never get scammed. 1 semester is all I need. I don't need a year. Actually, the heck am I talking about? You give me a week with them. Give me 1 week. And that's our program. Cars from Home. Literally, when you go in, you'll see everything there. It's only probably 3 hours for each strategy. Leasing like a boss, buying a new car. It's only 3 hours of material. And you're like, wow, this is the 7 steps, all I need? I'm talking about a semester. I don't need no semester. Give me 3-4 hours, and this is what we do here. So, all right, go ahead. Keep it going, Dolan. What's up, AB Boggs? Good to see you, Kurt. Good to see you. Shout out to everybody checking in. What is Shonda's at? It's Shonda Martin. Those of you who are like, what's her name that teaches the credit specialist? Shonda Martin, Martin. And you can also type in, some of her profiles are Road to 750 Plus, and follow her. Learn from her. Use her stuff. She is she is serious. She's the me of credit. And I don't say that lightly about myself. I say that in humility. It takes time to become a specialist. It took decades of me in the car business learning and being a finance manager with Mercedes, with Ray Katina, and seeing the numbers and working with the banks and seeing negative equity. Who has negative equity? Yeah, we got to talk about that. I know there's tons of people on here with negative equity, but no one's asked a question about it yet. It takes time. So when I see Shonda, I see someone who's put the time in to learn the credit industry, the ins and outs, what works. She's taking classes, courses, and that's why I recommend her to everybody. Everybody. Go ahead, Dolan. Is it wise to have a Mercedes up to 8 years old, or are they now money pits? Well, as long as you can pay cash for it. We teach something called the rule of 72 on the 10th birthday. Who's heard of it? If you've heard of it, type $signs. The rule of 72 on the 10th birthday means we do not take a loan longer than 72 months. That is the average loan in America now, and that's the cap. If you want to take an 84-month loan on a car, that's like a 40-year mortgage. And unfortunately, some dealers will talk you into taking an 84-month loan because you're not making them compete. So when you're not making them compete against their competition, what they're doing is now trying to say, all right, we want to make this much money selling you this car, and we're not going to take less than that. So instead of actually taking money off as a discount, we're going to show you a longer loan to see a lower monthly payment. And that's like, okay, here's your payment, miss. It's $6.99 a month for 72 months. Oh, well, that's too high. Okay. Instead of taking money off, they say, well, good news. If you take 84 months, your payment is now $525 a month. Oh, okay, I'll do that. You lost because they just stretched out your loan. You're going to pay more interest, and you're paying too long for a vehicle. And so that's the 72-month part. The other part is we don't take a loan. We don't want a car being paid on past its 10th birthday. When I was at Mercedes, I'd see people come out the service department, tears, not actually crying, but you could see that they were close to crying. I remember one guy, he had a blue ML, it was a GLE, might have been an ML. And he said the ML, the GLE used to be the ML. And he said, man, I just did brakes and tires on the truck. I did my service. And they were telling me if something broken on the truck that I need to fix. So the tires and brakes alone was like, I want to say like $3 to $4 grand, if I remember. Then the service itself was probably another 500. And then what they were telling him he needed to fix was like 2,000. Now, some of you might say, well, that's horrible. That's like $6,000 on a vehicle. If it's paid off, then that's okay, because I'm just going to put the money in, service the vehicle, and keep it for another 2, 3, 4 years. But if you have a payment, this is what I call the 4 expenses. Payment, insurance, gas, maintenance. I didn't used to add gas. Now we add gas. Depends on where the gas prices is, gas goes in there. Because literally for some of these vehicles, gas is $200-300 a month. So, but when something breaks, that is what had people coming out in tears, because I remember we would be in here and you just hear boom. We're in the showroom, boom. And at first I didn't know what it was. But then, Reggie, you know what I'm talking about. I didn't know what it was, but the more I worked in the dealerships, we got to know what it was. That's an auto ride or air ride suspension going out. You ever see a vehicle and it's like on the ground, or it's leaning like this, that's the air ride suspension. Boom, goes out. That's $5,000. That's $5,000. So people will come out in tears because they're like, yo, I just made my car payment and I got my insurance. See, you have to be ready for an import car or a luxury car. And a luxury car is for people who have big money. If you have the money, that means you can pay off the vehicle, which means when something goes wrong, all right, I got the cash. All I need to make sure I do is get a quality car that has a great service history, and I pay a great price for it, but I can afford it. The people who are on the borderline, not able to afford these cars, you're taking loans that are too long. And when something breaks on these cars, you still have a car payment. And that's where you usually let the car go. Because now you have a car you're paying on every month you can't even drive it. This is what we call the repo recipe. Okay. So that's the philosophy on, shout out to everybody. I see you smoking with Matrix. Thank you so much. That's the philosophy on the boundaries. See, my job, besides giving you guys the strategies to pay the best prices on cars, is we have to have boundaries with the second most expensive purchase of our life, just like we have boundaries when we go buy a house. Does that make sense? Type $ if that makes perfect sense to some of you. There needs to be boundaries, things we don't cross. You know, if we don't have boundaries with houses, we say, hey, how much is that house? $600,000. Oh man, I can't afford that. Man, but hey, if you take a 50-year mortgage, here's the payment. Oh man, that's affordable. Okay, all right, let's do that. If you don't have boundaries, how many of you know you're going to take the 50-year mortgage? But most of us know we don't take a loan or a mortgage longer than 30. Because the car market hasn't been regulated, we have to create those boundaries for ourselves, and we make sure we don't cross them. Or at least if we cross them, we need to know we're crossing them. Okay? I see you, Gabriel. I see you, Reggie. I see you, Mr. Randy. Shout out to the tapped in people. All right, go ahead. Let's keep it going. We got a couple more minutes. Let's go. For those of you who are like Deshone, I want everything you teach in one spot. That's my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's 5-star rated. You can Google it. And we are about results. That is a 7-step system to below market used car deals, below market leases, below market new car deals. And it's going to guide you every step of the way. The first step is the most important question. Step 7 is delivery. So by the time you get to step 7, you are setting up your delivery or your pickup of your vehicle, and that is what it is. We have a welcome offer. The book's normally $97, and it's worth every penny. But for those of you who want who you can get to my bio, we have a welcome offer of 75% off. That's $24. In my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments, click that link, activate your 75% off, and your book will be in your inbox by the time you hop off the stream. All right. Also, for those of you who would rather work together, you see some of the people that we share here, and you see some of their stories. I got to read some of these. Before we get off, I got to read it because we got a bunch of new people that have sent me pictures, and we got, a bunch of people that got cars in the last, month. So we got to, we'll go over this. But these are the things that, for those of you who are like, hey, this private Facebook group, that's our done with you. You don't, that's all done with you. The book is for people who do it yourself. I have A to Z in there. Deshone, give me the strategy. I will execute it. That is the book, Cars from Home. For those of you who want community and you want support, we do 2 coaching calls a month, and you want to be in our Facebook group where you could ask questions. You want to click those links and click done with you. Shop with Deshone. And you do have to see if you qualify for that. But if you qualify, then we'll be shopping together. All right. Go ahead, Dolan. All right, it's already up. Nobody's giving away autos like the internet says they are. I don't care. I'm not the internet. Look, these are deals. Look, 2025 Yukon, they dropped the pricing down to about 70. BMW sold it to Carvana. Hold on. Look, original MSRP. Wait, hold on. We already talked about Jen. This is a 1.1% lease on a Nissan Murano Platinum 585. $50,000 vehicle. That's tons of discounts. I know when I got my Infinity when I got it in November, I got $8,000 off. We could go Milligan. Look, Milligan, $79,000 Mercedes EQE 350. Look, 2024, $79,000. Look at the discount, $20,300 off with all the rebates and the discounts. Unfortunately, you just don't know how to shop. And if you can see that, you shouldn't know how. You're the public. You are the public trying to do battle with an industry. I'm somebody who I'm in the industry. And people call me all around Jersey. People know me before anybody on the internet ever knew me. People in Jersey knew me. Call Deshone, family members, friends. They still call me and say, "Hey, Deshone, I know you're teaching and all of that. I know you got the book, but hey, you know you're the person I call." We accept nothing less than big discounts and below market deals. So it's just what you know. If you had a leak in your bathroom, it might seem like, oh God, there's water everywhere. I don't know what to do. No one in my house can fix this. You call in an expert and hey, 3 minutes. Heck, man, how'd you fix that so quick? I'm an expert and I can teach you. So in our case, we teach. That's why I love sharing other people. Every one of you might probably say, Deshone, obviously you can get great car deals. You've been in the car business. The reason why I show people like Milligan and people like Raphael, look, $46,000 vehicle, $549 a month lease. Probably got 8-10 grand off to get to that payment because they're you. They were just like you, watching me, said, hey, this guy sounds like I could trust him. I'm going to give this a shot. And they did the work. They learned the system. Look, India, 2024 Hyundai Elantra Limited, $29,000 vehicle, $365 a month, no money down. These are huge discounts to get to these payments. Whether you're buying or leasing, you cannot get to a great payment on a lease without big discounts. And why is it so easy? Because we employ competition. It's simple. You're used to negotiating with one dealer, maybe two. NADA told us that. NADA told us as car salesmen, these are the statistics, car salesmen, just so you know, your average customer is only going to shop 2 dealers. That's all they know how to shop. After that, they're going to get tired. They're going to make a decision. So we use that information accordingly. We shop 25 dealers from home. What? That sounds crazy. Everyone who you've seen who are getting a new car using our system has shopped 25 dealers from home. Why is it simple? Because I have the email scripts. It's copying and pasting. When we get used cars, we're always doing all our work on the marketplaces, and we're employing competition, and we're looking at the whole market and turning the whole market into one big competition for us. That's the difference. It's a whole different world. I love for you to come to this world. And that's what you hear. When you hear people say, oh, there's no deals out there, it's no deals for you. Unfortunately, it's no deals for you. But when you come to our world, it's a different world. Deals everywhere. Good. Good, Dolan. Next question. What's up, Leon Pollard? Good to see you. Kenzie Lee on the check-in. Kate V. Bond. Good to see you. Kate Von B. What's going on? Thank you for y'all running up the likes on TikTok. I appreciate y'all. If you spend time with us, every couple minutes, you just like, man, this is good. That was good. Tap that screen. Just do. Some of you just sit there for 30 seconds like, man, that was a good answer. Let me just tap this screen and run these likes up and bring some more people over here. All right, for a new EV, would you lease or buy? This is a very simple question, guys. We have a rule about leasing. It's called the 8-year rule. In my book, in everything I teach, you hear me talk about the most important question. This is it. How many years are you going to keep the next car? If it's not 8, definitely not, oh, I might keep it 8. It needs to be 8 or more. Then you purchase. Because the depreciation is going to eat you alive. It's going to eat you alive in the short term. You buy a car, and cash buyers, you know this better than anyone. Because you're not, unfortunately, payment buyers, They manipulate the payment and you don't really see what you're paying. Unless you're really savvy and you just ask for the price of the car and then you match the payments yourself to see. But most people, they're not. They go in, give me the $500 a month, we got a deal. That is a recipe for a big commission because these things can be manipulated. So in the short term of a purchase, the depreciation is going to ruin you. You buy a car for 40, you come back, it's worth it. Let's just take, since you asked the question about the electric vehicles, let's just take the example of what we've experienced in the last 6 months. The value of electric vehicles have fallen through the ground. It's literally people were buying electric vehicles for 60,000 and then in a couple, literally 2 years later, they were worth 30. Horrible depreciation. How could we have avoided this? Shopping for a below market lease. Shopping for a below market lease. Short term, I'm not going to worry about the depreciation because I'm going to shop my offers. I'm going to get the lowest price on the lease. We always get at least 5 offers. Our system teaches you how to do that. You need to get at least 5 offers, whether you do it my way or your way. If you want to call around, talk to enough dealerships, you could ask for the sales manager and try to cut through the BS and get 5 offers. You're going to see how different they are. You're going to see how different the offers are. And once you see how different the offers are, it's going to prove to you, this is why I need to be shopping multiple offers. So once you do that, you get your 5 offers and you'll see that's my lease deal. That's going to be my below market lease. If I'm purchasing though, I'm planning on keeping this vehicle for the long run, long haul, 8 or more years. And I'm not worried about depreciation. Who has a vehicle they've had for at least 8 years? Type me. Matter of fact, how many years have you had it? Let us know. Let us know. Let's get engaged, chat. Get engaged. C. Parker, hello. Hey, great car buying advice. Guess what? You can teach your info to older students in schools. Listen, I love to. Who has a car? Let us know how many years you've had the car outside. If you've had a car longer than 8 years, type the number of years that you've had that car. We're seeing people keep cars less and less. So, I mean, I don't even know if there's many people on here who've kept a car longer than 8 years. All right, I see one user 608987. I can't see my Instagram people. I'm sorry. Tomorrow I'm gonna have my device set up where I can see my Instagram. We bring your questions on, but okay, Paulie, I have a 2013 ES. Okay, this is the stuff where you don't have to worry about the depreciation. The longer you keep a car, the less you're concerned with the depreciation of it because you've gotten your money out of it. But when I was in the dealership, I can't tell you how many times, and some of you're guilty of this. I'm trying to get you out of this right now. I would be in the dealership, somebody walks by and they're like, hey, is that the brand new one? They're looking at something that's on the showroom. I'm like, yeah, that's the 2020, whatever. They're like, okay, soon as I got 3 more payments on this one. Soon as I make my last payment, I'll come see you for that one. That is 2 things wrong there. First of all, they thought they had to keep the car. They thought they had to pay the car off in order to get another car. If you thought that, you don't have to. They thought, oh, I got to have the title. You don't have to. So if you didn't know that, type of question mark. If you were taught, I thought I had to have the title, Deshone, before I could replace the vehicle, type of question mark. If that's what you were taught, it doesn't. So that's the first thing wrong. The second thing, and the bigger thing, is you just paid an entire vehicle off, which is like a marathon. We call it. It's like a marathon. Hey, I'm gonna take a 5 or 6 year loan on this car, and then I'm gonna make these payments, and then I'm gonna pay it off, and I get my title. And then when I this is where you should be looking and saying, hey, now it's time to get my money's worth out of this car. Now it's time to make sure that I got a car outside. That thing is paid off. Hold on. I'm still trying to get on Instagram. That thing is paid off. And I'm gonna keep that thing in the driveway 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Maybe I'll pass it down to my kids or have it be a this or that. This is that time. But what's happening? We go and replace the vehicle. and we start a whole nother marathon. We start an entirely different marathon. That's what we're doing when we buy these cars that we are not keeping. We're not keeping them long enough to even pay them off, which means you always are going to have negative equity unless you're just making big down payments. So you're not even keeping them long enough to pay them off. Second, some of you are pay them off and then you go and you replace it again and get a whole nother vehicle. And then the third of you is, buying and doing it right, which is I'm paying my car off and I'm keeping this thing until the wheels fall off, or at least until I know I got my money out of this 8, 10, 12 years. So if you're not there, Deshone, I'm nowhere near interested in keeping a car that long. You should be shopping for a below market lease. And that's what should have been being taught to you from the day you learned about cars. But because they taught you wrong, and because there's people out here with big platforms and influence that tell you never lease cars, now you're hearing conflicting messages, especially because these people claim to be offering good financial advice. So it's like, wow, I can't go against them. Meanwhile, if they don't know what they're speaking about concerning cars. Investing in stocks, God bless them, may do a great job. Car advice, they're costing you thousands and thousands of dollars. So the question is, how many years do I keep my next car? If the answer is less than 8, I'm shopping for a below market lease. Not a regular lease, not a lease I see on commercials. Come in and lease this vehicle for $429 a month, and nobody who's listening to us is paying those prices. I'm shopping for a below market lease, getting multiple offers, and that's what I'm going to do. If I'm keeping it more than 8, then I'll shop for a purchase, new car, used car, below market purchase. Okay? Simple rule. And that's step 1 of our process. We call it the most important question. If you buy a car but you should have leased, you lost money. You lost thousands of dollars, probably 10 grand. 7 to 10 grand. The more expensive of the vehicle, the more you lost. If you bought a big BMW and you bought it, but you should have leased it, you probably lost 15, 20 grand. Just in your structure. Your structure is incorrect. So let's go. Great question. All right, go ahead. I see we got a lot more coming in though. Let's see. Let me try to zip through these. By the way, all of you who are like Deshone, I need everything you teach in one spot. That's my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealership. It's 5-star rated. You can Google it. It's everything we teach in one place, step by step. You can get we have a welcome offer, 75% off. It's normally $97. But if you get to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, the Facebook comments, and the YouTube comments, click that link. That'll activate your 75% off only for 30 minutes. And you can get your book for $24. It'll be in your inbox in 3 to 5 minutes. All right. And you'll have the blueprint. For those of you who want to work with us and shop directly and get coaching and be in our community, we do coaching calls twice a month. And instead of reading, you want videos, you can click that button that says Shop with Deshone. See if you qualify for that. And either way, that's our way of making sure that you have no excuse on not having access to affordable information to make sure you pay less than everyone else for cars. If the lease has 5K less miles than the terms, will they credit me the difference? No, but you want to do an equity assessment. This is step 2. We just went over step 1, leasing versus buying, most important question. Step 2 is equity assessment. We need to see, can we sell this lease, break even, or make money? What you want to do is call the bank. Do not go to a dealership for this. Call the bank and ask them, what is my payoff? Once they tell you your payoff, you want to write this down. Write down what I'm about to tell you. You're going to go to these 6 websites: CarMax, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. Do not use the KBB. You quick put in your year, make, model. It says your car is worth $30,000. Do not use that garbage. You're going to go to Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, Driveway, Car Gurus, Sell My Car, and AutoNation, Sell My Car. Those are 6 websites. We get these offers. It'll take about 20 minutes. When they ask you, is the vehicle a lease, a purchase, or owned, put owned. and then you want to see what is the market value of my vehicle, what are those offers, and what is my payoff. Can I break even, or can I make a little money selling this? A couple years ago, we had people making lots of money when cars were worth $7,000 to $12,000 more. But there's still people who are selling their leases, getting $1,500, $2,500, $3,000. Not always. It's no guarantee. But we never return a lease without checking for equity, because if there's $2,000 there, the dealer is going to keep it, and it's theirs. So this is our look like they have a lease in process that they want you to do as a customer. You can call for an inspection. That's their lease in process. In Cars from Home, we have a lease in process. It's called an equity assessment. So you want to see, yes, I'm below my miles. Is there a way that I can potentially pick up some money? Now, there's two types of equity assessments. There's a third-party restricted equity assessment, and there's a non-third-party restricted. It depends on who the lease is with. If the lease is with a company that doesn't have a third-party restriction, then you can just sell it direct to the highest bidder. If there's a lease that has a third-party restriction, then what we're going to do is there's an extra step involved, because we're not going to sell to those companies. We're going to sell to a local dealer. But we're using those 6 offers to evaluate if we even have equity. If you run those offers and you're like, hey, it looks like I got $3,000 to $4,000 or $5,000 of equity, but I have a third-party restriction, then we're going to call a local dealer. I have a script in my book. I'll walk you through who to talk to in a dealership, how to talk to the used car manager. You're going to get your 3 to 5 offers, and you sell to the dealership to get your equity. So either way, we get our equity if we have it, but we do not return a lease without ever doing an equity assessment. Go ahead, Dolan. This is good. If you're getting value out of this, type $signs. Let me know, chat. You're getting value out of what we're doing. I can't listen, Dolan. I can't get to. I'm trying to log in. It's not showing me as live on Instagram. I don't know why. I was trying to come in from a viewer perspective and see. Normally Instagram, I'd be shouting you guys out a lot more, but I cannot. I'm just having trouble getting to you. So on the next stream, we'll make sure you're here. But you guys can see if you type your questions, we bring them in. Shopping for a lease deal on a BMW X3 or Audi Q5. Credit score is 750. What's a good lease deal? We don't know. What you want to do when you estimate, first thing we do to even see if is this a vehicle we should even be looking at, is you take the MSRP, and we base a great deal. There's 3 types of leases: a steal, a great deal, and then it's time to chill. That's actually the verbiage that I use. Time to chill means, look, I like the vehicle, but next. Because what you have to understand about leasing, our system is going to make sure you find the dealer who is going to give you the biggest discount, because it's a numbers game. We have a system we call 25 to 5 for new cars and leases. We're going to connect with 25 dealers online from our house. Every car I get, I'm sitting right here, including the last one. Every car I get is from my living room or from my home office. So we're connecting with 25 dealers online to get at least 5 offers. We pick the best one. And then I have a calculator in my book and in our course where we put the offers in, and it tells you what to counter offer, because we never want to accept a deal without a counter offer. Now, once that's done, we know what the best deal is on that car. It's not going to be the same as the BMW. It's not going to be the same as the last vehicle or the Chevy. Every single vehicle has a different lease program. This is very important to understand. You cannot control the lease program. What is the lease program? The money factor, which is the interest rate from the bank, because you cannot use your own bank on the lease. The interest rate is let's stay on the interest rate. Dealers, the worst dealers, mark up the interest rate because you can't shop for it on your own. So they're going to do something we call padding the interest rate. Thanks for sharing, Jacqueline. I appreciate you. Shout out to the sharers. They're padding the interest rate. So they're going to leave themselves some negotiating room there. Then you have the residual value, and then you have any incentives, any rebates. Those three things make up a lease program, and we have no control over any of those things. Some are much more aggressive based on the fact the manufacturer wants to move the car. They'll put some big rebates on it. They'll put some different incentives on it. The interest rate is going to be low. And some manufacturers have certain cars where they're not going to do that. They might say, okay, for the Range Rover Autobiography, we are not going to do any incentives at all, whatever. That's the lease program. Again, nothing to do with the dealer who's going to be discounting the vehicle. Our system is to find the dealer who's going to say, all right, this is my offer. And you look and they're like, taking off a big amount of money compared to the other offers. That's why my two favorite words are multiple offers. That's how we guarantee we never have buyer's remorse. And that's how we guarantee we paid the lowest amount. So once you now see that there's no way I can control the lease program, now we understand that when let's go back to the three types of lease deals. A steal is a 1% lease. A 1% lease is, you look at a $40,000 vehicle, when you get your offers, it's $400 a month or less, no money down. The payment that we get is 1% of the total MSRP or less. I just got one on my Infinity truck, $54,000. It was $499 with $1,200 out of pocket. Probably would have been, with first payment out of pocket. We always shop with first payment. We have templates for this, so you don't even have to worry about putting this together unless you want to do it on your own. Do it your way. That's fine. You can try to remember this. But in my book, and when we're shopping together, we have templates. You copy and paste this stuff, so you don't have to remember this. But the 1% lease is 1% of MSRP. I would say my lease on that Infinity truck would have been, it's $499. It probably would have been about $512, $515 maybe, and it's a $54,000 truck. So it's less than 1% of the MSRP. That's what we call a steal. But you need a great lease program to get a steal. It's not just the fact the dealer took off $8,000. He would have took off $8,000 just by us, using our shopping system. But if he had a bad lease program, then it wouldn't have been $499. It would have been $690. Lease program is bad. So we don't know what these are going to be until we shop for them. Now, we do have the 1.5% rule. It's very important because many people, when I first started talking about leasing, I knew people were going to go out there, not learn about how to get great leases. They were just going to go into dealerships and say, hey, I want to lease. I saw this guy on, Instagram or TikTok. He told me I shouldn't be buying cars anymore. Man, show me what a lease looks like. And you're going to get an overpriced lease because you don't know how to shop for them. So now, person shows you a lease, you're like, okay, well, look, that sounds better than, if I was to buy it. I'll take it. So then we created the 1.5% rule. So you would know if your payment with no money out of pocket is more than 1.5% of the MSRP, you've now overpaid for the lease. It doesn't make sense to lease the vehicle. And that does not mean you go into a dealership, hey, get me under 1.5, because then you're going to lose. You're going to lose. See, I want to use a real case of how I remember Zafrina. Zafrina was shopping for a, where's her deal? Here it is. Zafrina was shopping for a Jeep Grand Cherokee 2024. And she's in our program, and she asked me, she said, Deshone, I'm shopping for the gas vehicle. Best offer I got was like 1.19. I'm like, it's a great offer. But she was coming out of a Jeep that she had already had, and it was under 1%. So she was like, I really like to see the 1%, but she's like, I can't get it. But she said, the dealer said to me, if I took this other version, which is an electric version, that I could get it to 1%. And then I said, well, if you're going to change vehicle, you now need to run the process for that vehicle to see what the best offer is. Don't let that dealer flip you from a regular one to an electric and then tell you, well, I'll get you to the 1%. No, run the offers now and see what the below market price is on the electric. She did it. It didn't take her more than a day. She hit me back in our group and she said, look, I picked this up, end up getting a 0.88% lease, $579 a month, $66,000 vehicle. That is why we never go in telling people, hey, get me to 1%, get me to 1.2, get me to 1.5. No, that is the way to overpay. We sit at home, we get our offers, we work the system, and then we let the best deal reveal itself. When Milligan saved, look, I'm going to go back to Milligan. She got $27,000 off her Mercedes here. You guys can't see this on TikTok, but if you ever watch the replays on YouTube or on Facebook, you'll see $20,000. It's a $79,000 vehicle. She got $20,300 off from home using the Cars from Home system. She didn't know she was going to save $20,000. That's the thing. We get the questions a lot. How much should I look to save off this vehicle? We never know. We do the process. We take 2-3 days. We work the market, use our scripts, use our templates, and then we see what is the best deal on this vehicle. That's how everyone does it. That's how Kimberly did it to get $20,000 off her Maserati. You guys can see here, she bought a Maserati, got $20,000 off of it, brand new. I'm just taking the biggest discounts because I want you guys to know, Sean, when he got his F-150 Lightning, he saved over $20,000. But they didn't go in saying, I know I'm going to save $20,000. They didn't go in saying, oh, man, they just worked the process, budgeted for their vehicle, and when they saw, oh, shoot, I saved $20,000 off this thing, and it was just a pleasant surprise. You look at somebody like Tiffany. Tiffany got $6,500 off her Mazda. Where's Tiffany? She got $6,500 off her Mazda, 2024 CX-90. That was the below market deal for her. But she shopped the offer. She saw some dealers not discounting, some dealers taking off $2,000, some dealers taking off $3,000, $4,000, and then the winning dealer took off $65,000. That's the below market deal. That is the process. So there's no push button solution. There's no magic formula other than we work our process, our Cars from Home system. We let the market submit offers. We pick the below market offer if it's in our budget. That's it. And that number is going to vary based on the vehicle, based on the programs. All right? Listen, everything that we've been going over, including questions that we didn't get to, it's a lot of questions that no one asked. You didn't ask about negative equity. You didn't ask about high mileage driving. You didn't ask about getting loans. We have a system called the bank bidding war to make banks and credit unions bid for our rate. So everything that we've discussed and things that no one asked yet is in my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get a copy as part of our welcome offer. It's normally $97. You can get a copy 75% off for 30 minutes, $24. Get to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. We got a link there for you. And as long as you get there before 30 minutes, you got a copy for $24. It's everything we teach step by step to below market deals. That's a do-it-yourself master blueprint. Doesn't matter who you are, if you're an introvert, if you are, soft-spoken person, timid person, this is perfect because we don't talk. I'm never teaching you to go in and talk and negotiate with people who negotiate 3 times a day for a living. You can win by sitting at home and making these people compete for your business. That's our system. So get your copy for 75% off. You'll have everything we teach. Now, those of you who want to do it, Deshone, can we shop together? We have a done with you program. You can go to those same links in the bios and in the comments, and you'll see a link that says shop with Deshone. See if you qualify, and then we'll walk you through the entire process through video form. We have our Facebook community where you can ask questions and get support, and you're in a community with 1,600 people in our Facebook group alone, and we do coaching calls twice a month. So get in where you fit in. Does not matter. Just make sure you are using what we are talking about, because corporate greed is out of control. No one cares when you overpay for a car but you and your family. No one cares. The dealer doesn't care. The government doesn't care. There's no lawyer who's going to say, oh, man, wow, you paid how much? Man, I'm going to help you get that money back. Nobody cares. So we make sure we arm ourselves with the right information so that we make sure when we shake our hand and drive off in that new car, we guarantee we didn't leave any money on the table. That's what I want for you. So God bless you. I will check back in soon. We'll be, see you on another stream, and keep unlearning and relearning.